Chapter 421. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After entering the 5th rank of the void inquiry stage, you can cultivate your innate bloodline technique. This is very important to you. Wu Lingfei signaled Night Sorrow to sit down. Aunt Fei, I've already cultivated it. The effect is not bad. Night Sorrow said. The effect is not bad? What do you mean by the effect is not bad? Let's go somewhere else. You can try it for me. Wu Lingfei took out a golden mask and put it on. Then, she brought Night Sorrow out of the tent. She waved her hand and wrapped Night Sorrow with her energy before bringing him to the mountain peak where Night Sorrow and the others fought. Try it. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow after releasing the energy binding. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, the 3 innate bloodline energy points under the dragon bone erupted, forming a slash and blasting it towards an ancient tree 20 zhang away. **** Space and air were cut apart by Night Sorrow's spatial crack, producing a hissing sound. Then, a hole appeared in the middle of the ancient tree. That's right. This is Night Moon Dynasty's spatial crack. You've cultivated it very well. I didn't expect it to have such power. You have to slowly strengthen the innate bloodline energy points. This spatial crack will become even stronger. Wu Lingfei said. Spatial crystals are scarce. I've talked to the Vice Lord and Chief Protector of the Tianji Tower to see if they have any spatial crystals. I'll go and exchange them for some. Night Sorrow said. Aunt Fei still has a few pieces here. Take them first. However, don't absorb the energy of the spatial crystals for cultivation. Your innate bloodline is still at the basic stage. It's not good to borrow too much external force. Wu Lingfei took out 3 spatial crystals and said. Aunt Fei, I'll take them then. Night Sorrow said with a smile. You don't have to be so polite with Aunt Fei. Your soul power already has a foundation. You don't have to worry about soul defense. However, the improvement of your soul power can't be sloppy. It's more important than the improvement of your true qi. Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow. Auntie Fei, I still have soul crystals, Night Sorrow said. I know you have a lot of treasures. Keep them for yourself. Aunt Fei is at a bottleneck now. Some resources are useless, Wu Lingfei said. Auntie Fei, why don't you take the water origin stone and study it again? Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. He felt that Wu Lingfei needed source stones more than Sikong Chuyu. That's not the case. If we use the water element as the foundation to break through, Auntie Fei can easily do it. But Auntie Fei doesn't want to be an ordinary cultivator. If I want to be a strong cultivator who despises everything, said Wu Lingfei. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that Wu Lingfei was someone with great ambitions and was unwilling to be ordinary. I wanted to teach you the Xian Jade Slash, but you don't need it since you already have the spatial crack. Don't bite off more than you can chew, Wu Lingfei said. Then, Wu Lingfei brought Night Sorrow back to the camp. Go and prepare. As for the 4 people in Tianji Tower, let them decide what to do. Night Sorrow nodded and returned to his tent. You rascal, isn't 1 day enough for you? How's it going? Yang Lei grumbled to Yi Shang, her heart aching. It's done. We don't have anything else to do here. However, I might have to take the Bloodstrike guards to the Nebula sect to clean up the dark creatures. This time, you guys can come with me. Everyone's cultivation is the same, so there won't be any restrictions, Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's good. This way, we'll feel more at ease. We don't want to see you take risks and be anxious, Sikong Chuyu said. Then, Night Sorrow called Ho Jian and the others to ask for their opinions. In the end, their opinions were unanimous. They were all willing to follow Night Sorrow into battle. That's good. You guys go and rest. Listen to the orders later, Night Sorrow said to Ho Jian and the others. Ho Jian and the others nodded and left. They knew that Night Sorrow had just returned and had a lot to say to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Yi Shan gave 2 bottles of life spirit fluid to the 2 women and some soul crystals to the others. 13. Your luck is heaven-defying. As long as you go out to train, you'll always be able to bring back some top-grade resources. These are things that others can't even dream of, but you've already gotten them, Yang Lei said as she hugged Night Sorrow's shoulder. Yi Shang only smiled. He had only taken out a portion, just enough for the 2 women to use. He didn't say exactly how many resources there were. Once he did, it would implicate a lot. As for the matter of the Dark Spirit Saint and Life Saintess, Yi Shang didn't want to tell the 2 women. Night Sorrow felt very relaxed when he was with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. At night, Qin Nan came and told Night Sorrow to rest well. Tomorrow, she would bring them back to Waterfront City. When Night Sorrow was about to meet the blood-robed guards, Qin Nan told him that the blood-robed guards had already sailed out to Waterfront City to wait for them. At night, Night Sorrow didn't cultivate. He just rested on the bed Yang Lei made for him. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu sat in the tent to accompany him. After dawn, Night Sorrow planned to bid farewell to Wu Lingfei. However, he discovered that Wu Lingfei had left the Dark Island after setting up an array in the pit last night. Qin Nan then wrapped Night Sorrow, Sikong Chuyu, and Ho Jian with energy and set off for Waterfront City. It didn't take long for Qin Nan to cover a distance of a few thousand miles with her rapid flight. Soon, the group arrived at the city lord's mansion. In the backyard, Night Sorrow saw 30 blood-robed guards ready to set off. Everyone is here. Let's take the teleportation array and set off directly to the headquarters of the Star Cloud sect, Star Cloud City, said Qin Nan. Night Sorrow and the others nodded. Fighting in the eastern Xian region's territory made Night Sorrow excited. He didn't feel any pressure. Under Qin Nan's lead, the group quickly teleported to the Star Cloud sect. In Star Cloud City, Night Sorrow and the others saw the busy side of the city. Many cultivators rode demonic beasts out of the city in teams. There were also riding teams whistling through the air. Get on your mounts. We're going to Broken Cloud Mountain, said Qin Nan. Following Qin Nan's words, everyone released their flying mounts. Qin Nan's body flashed and she landed on the back of Night Sorrow's Tianyu. Tianyu, who originally wanted to resist, continued flying after Night Sorrow communicated with him. This time, the Star Cloud sect is in a miserable state. One of their 2 supremacies died in battle, while the other was defeated and severely injured. Their foundation was destroyed. The Star Cloud sect is only a superpower now, but its strength is not enough to be a superpower, said Qin Nan. Z0 update hashtag new TV coming soon W unspecified currency. The situation is that serious? Asked Night Sorrow in surprise. Yes. If it weren't for the 2 elders of the eastern Xian city, the Star Cloud sect would have become history, said Qin Nan. Qin Nan then told Night Sorrow the news she received. The supremacies of the dark creatures were very strong. They were level 5 supremacies, dark spiritual corpses. The supremacies of the Star Cloud sect were no match for them. The supremacies who went forward were killed immediately. Chapter 422. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. The 2 elders from Dongxian City had arrived in time and defeated the dark spiritual corpse. However, they hadn't killed it. They had only repelled it and saved the life of the Star Cloud sect's venerable. Killing it is still a problem, Night Sorrow said. That fellow is smart. When the 2 elders from Dongxian City arrived, it felt that it couldn't handle them and ran away. It has a way of hiding its aura. It is currently hiding among the dark creatures. As long as it doesn't fight, no one can tell which is its true body, Qin Nan said. This is still a difficult situation to deal with. Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his forehead. Why do you care so much? You are going to kill the minions and clean up the battlefield. You are going to get rid of the dark creatures, Qin Nan said. The main danger is not being ambushed. If a level 5 venerable ambushes you, you will be killed instantly, Night Sorrow said. Don't you have protective bracelets? They can withstand 2 attacks from a venerable. That will give us time to rescue you, Qin Nan said. What about the other brothers of the Blood Strike Guard? Knight Sorrow asked as he turned around and looked at the 30 members of the Blood Strike Guard. There is nothing we can do about it. However, the Dark Spiritual Corpse is not stupid. Even if it ambushes, it will target people with high combat strength and lethality. Its target is most likely the few of you. Love go little say, Chu, Qin Nan said. When the time comes, arrange for them to stay back. I don't want my brothers to be cannon fodder, Knight Sorrow said. He didn't want to see the brothers who had fought side by side with him fall. Okay, you are the captain. You can arrange the battle as you see fit. In a while, take off your mask. Try not to reveal your identity as a member of Tianji Tower. It doesn't matter if they wear it, but you have a status in the City Lord's mansion. You need to communicate with them, Qin Nan said. She was secretly glad for the members of the Blood Strike Guard's 5th squad. Knight Sorrow was a captain who knew how to think for his brothers. After half a day, the group finally arrived at Broken Cloud Mountain. Under Qin Nan's lead, they arrived at Dongxian City's camp. This was the camp of the Black Iron Guards of Dongxian City. There were 2 elders of Dongxian City. Upon seeing Qin Nan, the 2 elders of Dongxian City came forward to welcome him. ZWD, official Ha version? D+Y him. B both are CC robbers. Qin Nan was the great commander in the City Lord's mansion. His position was equivalent to that of an elder. Most importantly, Qin Nan was a person with real power. He was the City Lord's confidant. Then, Qin Nan introduced the 2 parties. One of them was Lu Zhenyu, and the other was Dai Tianxiang. Knight Sorrow greets Elder Lu and Elder Dai. Knight Sorrow greeted them. We've all heard of your name. You're young and promising. That's not bad, Dai Tianxiang said. Dai Changlao, you flatter me, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow, take your men and go set up camp. Elder Dai, inform the resource manager that their resources will be distributed according to the best standards, Qin Nan said to Dai Tianxiang. Knight Sorrow then led his men to camp. Qin Nan and the 2 elders went to the largest tent in the middle. Commander Qin, Knight Sorrow is young and promising. It would be fine if he were the captain of the Black Iron Guards. Isn't it inappropriate for him to be the captain of the Blood Strike Guard? Elder Lu said. Lu Zhenyu was an elder of Dongxian City. Many of the members of the Blood Strike Guard had been chosen by him. Therefore, he was worried that Knight Sorrow wouldn't be able to lead the Blood Strike Guard Squad 5 well. They've fought in the Death Dimension a few times. Under Knight Sorrow's leadership, no one was injured. This proves his ability. Most importantly, this is the City Lord's order, Qin Nan said. Dai Tianxiang and Lu Zhenyu nodded. They could give suggestions and ideas to Qin Nan, but they could only carry out Wu Lingfei's orders. Knight Sorrow drank a pot of tea. After thinking for a moment, he took out his alchemy cauldron and refined some spirit-calming pills to distribute to the Blood Strike Guard. He hoped that everyone could reach the 5th rank as soon as possible. Knight Sorrow's group rested for 3 days before going out to battle. They would fight alongside Dongxian City's Black Iron Guards. The Black Iron Guards were organized into squads of 30 people. Last time at Knight Sorrow's residence, Lu Jun and the other 2 had led 3 squads, so there were nearly 100 people in total. This time, there were 5 squads of Black Iron Guards, as well as Knight Sorrow's squad of Blood Strike Guards. One of the 5 squads of Black Iron Guards was led by Lu Jun. Brother, we're going to fight together this time. Lu Jun waved to Knight Sorrow when she saw Knight Sorrow. Let's kill the enemy together. Knight Sorrow waved to Lu Jun. In addition to Dongxian City's troops, there were also Nebula Sect's disciples, numbering close to 1,000 people. Currently, Dongxian City's troops and Nebula Sect's disciples were blocking the dark creatures to the north of Broken Cloud Mountain. As long as the dark creatures attacked, they would fight back and return to Broken Cloud Mountain to set up camp, using it as a defensive line. Dongxian City's troops and Nebula Sect's troops didn't advance rashly. Before Qin Nan's arrival, Dongxian City's human camp only had 2 venerables. One of them wasn't a match for the dark spiritual corpse, so they didn't dare to advance rashly. Once the dark spiritual corpse attacked, they wouldn't be able to stop it. The dark spiritual corpse was a fatal threat to low-level cultivators. Therefore, Lu Jinyu and Dai Tianxiang could only steadily defend, not allowing the dark creatures to charge over. In addition, there were also people who went to Broken Cloud Mountain to investigate. It was Lei Hua. Kill all the dark creatures that are charging over. Push the battle line 100 miles away. Dai Tianxiang shouted to the people who were going out to battle. Nebula Sect's strength had been greatly reduced, and its disciples were all under Dongxian City's command. The sect master of Nebula Sect, Zhao Xianguan, didn't have his own opinion. Everything he did was to follow Dongxian City's orders. Not to mention the crippled Nebula Sect, even the Nebula Sect at its peak had to obey the orders of Dongxian City's City Lord Mansion. Moreover, if Dongxian City's troops weren't here, the Nebula Sect would have fallen a long time ago. Night Sorrow released Tianyu and Silver Fox. He sheathed the sky-piercing spear at his waist and charged forward with the reincarnation spear. This was because he could already see the dark creatures in his line of sight. The dark creatures were charging towards Dongxian City's human defense line. Remember, no one is allowed to charge in front of me, Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow began to charge forward. The other Black Iron Guards and the Nebula Sect's troops also began to charge forward. At this moment, Dai Tianxiang, Lu Jinyu, and Qin Nan were floating in the air, observing the battlefield. They wouldn't interfere in a battle between venerables. If human cultivators weren't a match for the dark creatures, it was because their skills were inferior. Venerables disdained to kill low-level dark creatures. This was also a training for Dongxian City's cultivators. Right now, they were paying attention to where the dark spirit corpse was hiding and whether it would attack human cultivators. Chapter 423. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow's group was the fastest. Like a sharp knife, they slaughtered their way into the group of dark creatures. Night Sorrow brandished his reincarnation spear. Every time he attacked, he used 5 spears in one. The body of the spear carried vibrating force to block while the spiraling force pierced through the dark creatures. None of the dark creatures below the 5th grade could withstand Night Sorrow's 7-star Brilliant Moon Spear. We have more confidence compared to fighting in the Death Domain. This is the territory of our Eastern Xian region. Kill! Night Sorrow shouted while brandishing his reincarnation spear. Kill! Following Night Sorrow's shout, over 30 people behind Night Sorrow shouted together. How dare you invade our territory? Kill! Night Sorrow shouted while charging forward. Kill! The blood-robed guards, Ho Jian, and the others shouted as well. I am invincible. Kill! Night Sorrow roared again after killing a dark liger with a wave of his hand. This battle intent and killing intent. They are on a completely different level compared to the other teams. Dai Tianxiang sighed with emotion. They killed a few times in the Death Domain. This battle is nothing. When they came out of the Death Domain, their clothes were all red. Just think about how intense their battle was. Qin Nan said. She was the one who trained the blood-robed guards. They were her pride. Under Night Sorrow's lead, they fought with vigor. This made her very happy. The group led by Night Sorrow charged into the group of dark creatures like a sharp knife. As Night Sorrow brandished his reincarnation spear, the corpses of dark creatures were all around him. Ho Jian and the others were the same. All of them were filled with high battle intent. Captain, be careful. There is a big guy in front. I can't see its cultivation base. Ho Jian reminded Night Sorrow. It's a level 5 5th grade dark zombie. 13, retreat. Yang Lei's cultivation base was at the peak of the 2nd grade of the Void Inquiry stage. She saw the dark zombie's cultivation base. C8% positive. First post, why are you retreating? Kill. Yishang's feet trembled as he leaped into the air and charged towards the zombie. Is this guy crazy? Or is your brain muddled from all the killing? Dai Tianxiang, who was floating in the air, said somewhat excitedly. At this moment, Night Sorrow's spear, which was imbued with shock energy, collided with the dark zombie's blade. Bang! With a muffled sound, Night Sorrow's body was pushed back several zhang *3. 33 m per zhang. However, the Void Inquiry Stage 5th level Dark Zombie was also pushed back 20 zhang *3. 33 m per zhang, by Night Sorrow's attack. Night Sorrow roared at the Bloodstrike guards, Ho Jian, and the others before charging at the dark zombies once more. Clean up the battlefield. Night Sorrow, who was using the soaring dragon steps, alternated between the energy of the myriad Dao treasure tome and his true chi. The three types of energy release techniques were constantly changing. He began to attack the Void Inquiry Stage 5th level zombie with his spear, completely suppressing it. However, because Night Sorrow was attacking in a circle, the dark zombie could not retreat even though its body was trembling from Night Sorrow's attacks and its tattered robes were flying all over the place. At this moment, Ho Jian's group of 4 and the Bloodstrike guards split into groups of 5 and charged in all directions, clearing a battlefield for Night Sorrow so that he would not be disturbed. Ninth senior sister, you guys go and bring up the rear too. Ho Jian looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu who were in a daze and shouted. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu's eyes were filled with astonishment. They knew that Night Sorrow was very strong, but they did not expect that Night Sorrow had already reached such a level where he could suppress a Void Inquiry Stage 5th level zombie. One should know that Night Sorrow had just entered the Void Inquiry stage not long ago. Bang bang the sounds of explosions caused by the collision between Night Sorrow and the dark zombies could be heard continuously. Every time they collided, Night Sorrow would be pushed back. The amount of energy in his body was much lower than that of the dark zombies. Because his body was stronger, even though he would be pushed back every time, Night Sorrow could still pounce on him in an instant and continue attacking with his spear. What's going on? Since when can a Void Inquiry Stage expert be so strong? Dai Tianxiang could not believe his own eyes. His mouth was filled with astonishment. Love go little say W. Chu, how can the person appointed by the city lord be weak? Qin Nan's eyes were also filled with astonishment. She knew that Night Sorrow had the ability to fight those with higher levels. However, it was really shocking for him to be able to withstand a Void Inquiry Stage 5th level dark zombies head-on even though he had just entered the Void Inquiry stage. Night Sorrow felt that it was about time. After a violent spear attack, he activated his innate bloodline's secret technique and sent out a spatial crack. The spatial crack's ability to conceal itself was very strong. The dark zombie only noticed it when it reached its chest. It then raised its right arm to block the attack. There was no sound of explosions caused by the collision of energy. There was only a crisp sound. The right arm of the dark zombie was cut off by Night Sorrow's spatial crack. At this moment, Night Sorrow's spear which contained vibrating force was aimed at the dark zombie's chest. Since the dark zombie had lost its right arm, it could only raise its left arm to block the attack. Buzz the vibrating force on Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear exploded, making a strong vibrating sound. The dark zombie's left arm was blown away. However, the true chi on Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was also neutralized. However, Night Sorrow's myriad Dao tome unleashed its power. The reincarnation spear which contained spiraling force instantly pierced into the area below the dark zombie's neck. Night Sorrow swung his arm left and right, cutting off the dark zombie's neck along with its head. After cutting off the dark zombie's head, Night Sorrow swung his reincarnation spear and sliced its head open. Then, he reached out his left hand and grabbed the dark zombie's crystal core. Charge in a triangular formation. Ninth senior sister, Chuyu, you two aren't familiar with the coordination of the team. Go to the back first. Night Sorrow gave the order. With a leap, he arrived at the front of the team and became the sharp blade of the team. Then, he continued to charge forward. That's it? With just a Void Inquiry Stage cultivation base, he killed a 5th level Void Inquiry Stage zombie without suffering any casualties. Has the world changed? Lu Jinyu said in surprise. It's definitely not the first time such a battle has taken place. Other than him fighting against the dark zombie, the other members of this small team also cooperated very well. There was no chaos at all and they were very organized. They are too experienced. Especially the scene where he grabbed the crystal core. He must have done it many times. That's why he could do it so naturally. Dai Tianxiang said. Night Sorrow's team continued to charge forward. Invincible and unrivaled, kill. Night Sorrow roared as he advanced. Kill. Following Night Sorrow's roar, the blood-robed guards, Ho Jian and the others also roared angrily. He's too beastly. Lu Jun, who was not far away, muttered in a low voice. Originally, when she saw a 5th level Void Inquiry Stage dark zombie appear in Night Sorrow's team, Lu Jun wanted to come over and help. However, the dark zombie had already turned into a crystal core. The team led by Night Sorrow was at the front. They also killed the most dark creatures. Behind the small team were densely packed corpses of the dark creatures. The combat boots of Night Sorrow and the others were also dyed red with blood. All of a sudden, Night Sorrow found that he could not move. His body was bound. Retreat. Retreat at full speed. Don't worry about me. Night Sorrow shouted. He knew what was going on. They were being ambushed by the dark spirit zombies. Spatial binding was a technique of venerable realm experts. Even a peak 5th level expert would not be able to use it. The moment he shouted to retreat, Night Sorrow circulated his true chi and activated the ice silk soft clothes. He did not activate the protection bracelet. He felt that the ice silk soft clothes activated by his 5th level true chi would not have a problem blocking one attack. After all, the protection bracelet was a one-time use item. It would be depleted once it was used. Chapter 424. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Bang! With a loud explosion, Yi Shang's body was sent flying. The silver armor and robes on Yisoro's body were shattered, leaving behind only the ice silk robes that were emitting light. Because this energy had struck his chest, it did not leave him naked, and it did not make him look too ugly. Night Sorrow spat out a mouthful of blood after being sent flying. However, he also noticed the target of the attack. It was a short and unremarkable dark zombie. After attacking Night Sorrow, its aura changed and it became a dark spiritual corpse that was 3.5 meters tall. It couldn't hide anymore because the dark creatures around it were all killed by Qin Nan. Bastard! What kind of sovereign are you? Night Sorrow waved his hand and threw out the sky-piercing spear without ice dragon tendons. At this moment, Night Sorrow, who was still in the air, and the sky-piercing spear, which had just shot out 6 meters, came to a stop. They were once again locked in the air by the dark spirit corpse's spatial imprisonment. Then, the dark zombie attacked Night Sorrow for the second time. Just as Night Sorrow was about to activate his bracelet, Qin Nan appeared in front of Night Sorrow and attacked the dark zombie. At this moment, Night Sorrow and the sky-piercing spear landed on the ground. Ho Jian and the Blood Strike guards also arrived behind Night Sorrow. Ho Jian reached out and helped Night Sorrow steady. Nan Liue picked up the sky-piercing spear and handed it to Night Sorrow. Bastard! Shameless! Lei Bao cursed. At the same time, he looked up at the battle between the sovereigns in the air. At this moment, the dark zombie was being suppressed by Qin Nan. It kept pressing towards the dark creatures. The battle between the human and the zombie was very explosive. Energy splashed everywhere and many dark creatures were killed by the energy. 13. Are you alright? Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu came to Night Sorrow's side. I'm fine. Fortunately, I have my treasured clothes. Otherwise, I would have died. Night Sorrow took out a battle robe and put it on. Let's go to KVS, you can't be so reckless. That's a dark spiritual corpse, a mid-level venerable. If you can't handle it, you can activate your protective bracelet. Sikong Chuyu said worriedly as she helped Yishang tidy up his clothes. Night Sorrow smiled. Then, he looked at the blood strike guards who were fighting in all directions to protect him. Only then did he feel at ease. It's nothing. That bracelet should only be used at a crucial moment. It's to save my life. If it hadn't reached rank 5, Yishang wouldn't have hesitated to activate the bracelet because he knew that this dark spiritual corpse's rank was high. After entering the rank 5 void inquiry stage, the defensive effect of the ice silkworm soft clothes increased. Night Sorrow wanted to test its strength. Anyway, he knew that Qin Nan would not give the dark zombie many chances to attack him. At this moment, the dark creatures seemed to have received an order and retreated. At the same time, the humans of the eastern Xian region also gave the order to retreat. Night Sorrow returned to his tent under the protection of the blood strike guards, Ho Jian and the others. Night Sorrow looked fine. However, after receiving an attack from a rank 5 venerable, his true qi and blood qi were slightly shaken. After returning to his tent, Night Sorrow ate a healing pill and began to heal himself. Dai Tianxiang and Lu Zhenyu who came to visit did not disturb him. After cultivating for half a day and a night, Night Sorrow felt that he had almost recovered. At this moment, Qin Nan, Dai Tianxiang, Lu Zhenyu and the sect leader of the Star Cloud sect, Zhao Xianguan, came over. Night Sorrow, are you alright? Qin Nan asked. I'm fine. It's a pity that the silver soft armor. It's the third set that I broke. Night Sorrow said with a little embarrassment. Don't worry. This is the true value of the silver star soft armor. What's the use of wearing it if it can't protect you? Qin Nan said. Captain Knight, this is a token of appreciation from the Star Cloud sect. Please accept it. Zhao Xianguan took out a jade bottle and handed it to Night Sorrow. There's no need for this. I'm fighting for the Eastern Xian region. Night Sorrow said. He did not have a good impression of the Star Cloud sect. I'm sorry for what happened in the past. It's a mistake on the part of the Star Cloud sect. This kind of thing will not happen again. I also want to thank Captain Knight for disregarding the past and coming to help us. Zhao Xianguan cupped his fists and said. Zhao Xianguan's attitude was very humble. Firstly, in terms of status, Night Sorrow's identity as a law enforcement officer of the Eastern Xian city was not inferior to his. In terms of cultivation base, his late void inquiry stage cultivation base was indeed stronger than Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's potential was huge. If Night Sorrow's cultivation base were to increase slightly, he would not be a match for him at all. Night Sorrow, let bygones be bygones. The current Star Cloud sect is not worth your attention. Qin Nan said. Her words were very direct and she did not care about Zhao Xianguan's face. Not to mention the current Star Cloud sect, she did not even care about the Star Cloud sect when it was at its peak. As long as the Star Cloud sect doesn't target the Medicine Valley, I won't say anything. Otherwise, after the war is over, I will still come and settle the score with you. Night Sorrow glanced at Zhao Xianguan and said. That won't happen. The Star Cloud sect is not unreasonable. Zhao Xianguan said. Then it's nothing. After all, it's an eventful period. We should focus on how to deal with the dark creatures. Commander Qin, how's the situation on your side? Night Sorrow asked. I'm sorry to disappoint you. That creature's strength is ordinary but it's very good at escaping. Although I've severely injured it, it still managed to escape. Qin Nan said with slight annoyance. Then what's the plan for the next battle? Night Sorrow asked. Our men will continue to push forward and kill the dark creatures. At the same time, our venerables will keep an eye on it. If it doesn't appear, then we will continue to hunt it down. If it doesn't appear, then we will eliminate the low-level dark creatures. Qin Nan said. Okay. Then let's continue to kill. Night Sorrow stood up and said. You don't have to fight today. Recuperate well. Later, I will ask the resource manager to send you the Silver Star soft armor. As long as you wear it, the City Lord Mansion will give you another one. Qin Nan said. I have to fight with them. Otherwise, I won't be at ease. Night Sorrow said. That's fine. You can follow but you can't fight. Qin Nan thought for a moment and said. She knew how Night Sorrow felt. She was also a commander. Then, Qin Nan and the others left. Following that, an old man came to give Night Sorrow another set of soft armor. With Sikong Chiyu's help, Night Sorrow put on the silver armor. Someone will give me the silver armor. After a few more battles, I won't even have a robe to wear. You don't cherish yourself at all. You have to know that you still have the two of us. Besides not having a wedding ceremony, we are no different from your wives. Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow nodded. I will pay attention. Actually, I have the confidence to protect myself. If Commander Qin doesn't intercept me in time, I will activate the protective bracelet. Keeping the bracelet is to protect my life in the future. Then, the eastern Xian region's men gathered again and advanced towards Broken Cloud Mountain. The members of the Blood Strike Guard, Ho Jian, and the others surrounded Night Sorrow. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu were responsible for protecting Night Sorrow while the others attacked. Night Sorrow knew that he would be fine. However, he enjoyed the feeling of being protected by his brothers. Chapter 425. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The battle continued. Night Sorrow's team was at the forefront. Although Night Sorrow didn't make a move, this team was the strongest in terms of combat power, and their teamwork was also the best. Night Sorrow's injuries had not fully healed, but he still had the ability to fight. It was just that his blood energy was not very smooth. Now that he was being protected, he did not really participate in the battle. He only used his soul power to cover the area in front of him. The dark zombies were already very intelligent, not to mention the dark spirit corpse. Its intelligence was no different from a human's because it had already awakened the memories of its previous life. In addition, due to the influence of the death attribute, its personality was even more cunning and sinister. More than 10 teams advanced, leaving behind the corpses of dark creatures. Commander Qin, come quickly. Everyone, retreat. Night Sorrow shouted and stood at the front of the group. Night Sorrow's soul power covered the area in front of him. One of the dark zombies made Night Sorrow feel unusual. He was familiar with its aura. Then he remembered that it was the aura of the dark zombie that ambushed him. This was the result of being bombed. Hearing Night Sorrow's roar, Qin Nan flew towards Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow was once again restrained by spatial shackles. Update F new W fastest M up/HV retreat. Night Sorrow shouted again. Then, he activated the bracelet on his wrist. He didn't want to add to his injuries, which would make it harder for him to recover. With the stimulation of Night Sorrow's true chi, energy fluctuations appeared on his body, squeezing out the energy binding, turning into an oval-shaped energy shield. With a muffled sound, Night Sorrow, who was protected by an energy shield, was sent flying. At this moment, Qin Nan came and started fighting with the dark spirit corpse again. However, the dark spirit zombie did not want to fight Qin Nan head-on. It fought while retreating towards the group of dark creatures. Night Sorrow had the urge to curse. This dark spirit corpse was really shameless, wanting to kill him. If it wasn't for the protective bracelet, Night Sorrow would have suffered. Although he wouldn't be killed, he would definitely be seriously injured. Dai Tianxiang went to Night Sorrow's side. Lu Zhenyu and Qin Nan started to chase after the dark spirit corpse. Night Sorrow, how are you? Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei came to Night Sorrow's side. I'm fine, but it's a big loss. The bracelet is like a life. Night Sorrow's wrist was empty. The bracelet had already been destroyed. It's fine as long as you're fine. We can talk about other things later. I still have a protective bracelet here. Yang Lei said and took off the bracelet on her wrist. Don't, I still have other ways to save my life. This one is very important. Night Sorrow quickly stopped Yang Lei. I'll think of a way for you. We don't have a protective bracelet, but we have other protective treasures. I'll think of a way for you. Dai Tianxiang said. All right. I believe you, Elder Dai. Night Sorrow said with a smile. I won't lie about this. I'll think of a way for you. Dai Tianxiang was stunned by Night Sorrow's words. Normally, Night Sorrow would say that he didn't need it and thank him for his kindness. However, Night Sorrow didn't play by the rules. Dai Tianxiang then ordered the team to continue advancing and kill as many as they could. An hour later, Qin Nan and Lu Zhenyu returned. Lu Zhenyu's face was pale. What's the situation? Dai Tianxiang asked. There's a change in the situation. It's not just a single supreme-level dark spirit corpse. They're afraid of Commander Qin, so they attacked me together. If not for Commander Qin, I wouldn't have been able to return today. Lu Zhenyu said angrily. Love go little say W. Chu, how many supreme-level dark spirit corpses? Dai Tianxiang asked. 3. The main thing is that they have a unique skill. Once the death energy spreads out, it covers a large area. Then, they turn into clones and escape. After a few times, we couldn't even see their shadows. Qin Nan said. Our attributes are suppressed by the death energy. Before we can investigate them clearly, they've already escaped. Lu Zhenyu said. I suspect that these dark spirit corpses are organized. They have the same unique skill to escape. It should be similar to clones and a battle skill. If we don't solve this problem, it'll be hard for us to kill them. Qin Nan said. How about this? We'll defend first and wait for the enforcement elder to return. We'll see what tactics are suitable. Dai Tianxiang said. The enforcement elder he was talking about was Lei Hua. In the city lord's mansion, the enforcement elder and the guardian elder had the highest status. Lei Hua was the enforcement elder. Then, the group retreated to the campsite. Captain, you're too unlucky. You've been attacked by the dark spirit corpses continuously. You're really attractive, Lei Bao said. You bastard. If it wasn't for the captain blocking at the front, do you think you'd be alive? Ho Jian waved his hand and punched Lei Bao's shoulder. Thank you, Captain. Lei Bao nodded at Night Sorrow. You're welcome. I'm willing to exchange some injuries for the safety of my brothers. I'm willing to accept this bad luck. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Thank you, Captain. The members of the Blood Strike Guard also shouted. They're lucky to be following you. Qin Nan glanced at the group behind Night Sorrow and said. Then, the group began to rest. The injured healed, and the uninjured sat down to recover. The 3 venerables of the eastern Xian region were stationed around the campsite. They were worried that the dark spirit corpses would launch a sneak attack on the campsite. Night Sorrow also began to meditate and heal. He wasn't injured today, but he hadn't recovered from the injuries from last time. There were no battles for the next 2 days. The main reason was that Qin Nan and the other 2 didn't want the eastern Xian region to suffer any losses. The appearance of 3 venerables made the situation even more serious. If they rashly went out and couldn't stop the enemy's venerables, the consequences would be unimaginable. Qin Nan also sent people back to eastern Xian City to gather the commanders of the Blood Strike Guard and Black Iron Guard. At the same time, he reported the situation to the Guardian Elder so that he could ask Wu Lingfei what to do. After Night Sorrow fully recovered, the 3 commanders of the Blood Strike Guard arrived. As for the commander of the Black Iron Guard, he had already gone to the Dark Island. After the three commanders arrived, the eastern Xian region prepared for a big battle. Their strength was already overwhelming, so there was no point in continuing the confrontation. After a few higher-ups of the eastern Xian region had a meeting, Ardent Wind found Night Sorrow. After drinking a jar of wine, Ardent Wind took out a set of silver soft armor. A different soft armor had a soaring golden king bird on it. Night Sorrow couldn't recognize what kind of bird it was, but he could feel its contemptuous gaze and aura. "Is this for me?" Night Sorrow asked. "Brother, if it's not for you, why would I take it out?" "To show off? The city lord gave it to the guardian elder to deliver to you. It should be called the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor. You can study it yourself." Ardent Wind smiled and left Night Sorrow's tent. Yi Shang opened the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor and stretched out his hand to feel the cool sensation coming from it. Chapter 426. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Aunt Fei. Night Sorrow greeted her with some surprise. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs.com. Well, this is only Aunt Fei's soul imprint. It won't exist for too long. You won't be able to recognize the owner of this armor. It's still the same. You need Aunt Fei to recognize you as the owner. After Wu Lingfei finished speaking, the arm of the illusory figure cut Night Sorrow's arm. A stream of blood floated down Wu Lingfei's arm and entered the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor. At this time, the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor began to emit light. The light became brighter and brighter. After a while, the light weakened. The Golden Phoenix Soft Armor will not shatter. There is only one possibility for it to shatter. You will understand in the future. Although it will not shatter, it can only resist part of the energy that invades. If the energy is too strong, it will not be able to resist. You still have to pay attention to your safety. After speaking, Wu Lingfei's illusory figure dissipated. The dissipated energy also entered the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor. After receiving this energy, the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor changed again. The Golden King bird on it began to shine. It wanted to take off, as if it had a soul. At this time, Night Sorrow and the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor had a connection. With Night Sorrow's communication and the vibration of the energy in his body, the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor flew from the table and disintegrated. It then flew back to Night Sorrow's body and fastened tightly on Night Sorrow's body. At this time, the energy on the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor flowed. After feeling it, Night Sorrow's body shook. The Golden Phoenix Soft Armor turned into a half-foot-long shoulder guard and fastened on Night Sorrow's shoulder. "Why did you take it off?" "The Golden Phoenix Soft Armor is so beautiful," Yang Lei said. "I don't want to, but supporting the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor requires a lot of Jin Qi. I can't bear it," Night Sorrow said with a wry smile. He did not say that supporting the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor required the support of soul power. He could only support it for a while. In other words, he could block a few attacks at a critical time. Mistress K is really taking care of you. She doesn't call you concubine for nothing. She really treats you as a junior, Sikong Chuyu said with some emotion. At this time, as long as one was not a fool, they would know that this Golden Phoenix flexible armor was also a spiritual artifact. It's really beautiful. Yang Lei looked at the Golden Phoenix Soft Armor and smiled, reaching out to touch it. Wang! The Golden Phoenix Soft Armor vibrated and directly shook Yang Lei back. After taking a few steps back, Yang Lei steadied herself. What's going on? I haven't even touched it yet. The Golden Phoenix Soft Armor has an artifact spirit. I can only feel its existence when I use it. I don't know what's going on right now. I guess it's a self-protective consciousness, Night Sorrow said. Shaking his shoulders, Night Sorrow looked at the shoulder pads again. He felt that this Golden Phoenix flexible armor had a secret. This was his intuition. The Golden Phoenix flexible armor had an artifact spirit. He did not have much communication with the artifact spirit, but he could use it perfectly. After resting for a while, everyone gathered, but they didn't go out to battle. P-Song 7 Hervit was Lei Hua who came back and stopped them from going out to battle. Afterward, the upper echelons of the Eastern Xian region held another meeting to discuss countermeasures because Lei Hua brought back some information. Night Sorrow and the others weren't qualified to participate in the meeting, so they drank and waited in the tent. An hour later, Lei Hua and Qin Nan arrived at Night Sorrow's tent. Dai Tianxiang and Lu Zhenyu went to arrange other things. "You're not going out to battle?" Night Sorrow asked. "Yes, we can't." Lei Hua sighed. Then, Lei Hua told him what he had found out. River Ocean City had fallen. After passing River Ocean City, Lei Hua scouted the coastline of the Realm's Sea and found a spatial tunnel. Death energy was gushing out from it, and dark creatures were constantly appearing. This wasn't the main reason why the Eastern Xian region was in a passive position. The spatial tunnel's nature was very disgusting. The spatial tunnel gushed with death energy, and dark creatures could enter and leave without a problem. However, cultivators of other attributes couldn't enter except for death energy. Lei Hua had tested it on ordinary demonic beasts. The spatial tunnel rejected all attributes except death energy. As long as other attributes appeared, it would directly crush them. "Can't your protective energy withstand it?" Ho Jian asked. "It can't. Low-level cultivators can't withstand the crushing death energy. High-level cultivators will be suppressed by the laws, and their spirit sea will be destroyed," Lei Hua explained. "Then we won't go in. Let's kill all the dark creatures outside and then defend the entrance," Nan Liu said. "The spatial tunnel doesn't reject death energy. The dark spirit corpses can enter and exit as they wish. How are we going to fight? If we suppress the spatial tunnel, what if the dark spirit corpses come out and launch a sneak attack? A dark spirit corpse can kill a group of low-level cultivators on our side even if it's injured," Lei Hua said hatefully. Night Sorrow and the others didn't say anything. The spatial tunnel's nature was too unfair. It put the Eastern Xian region and the Death Domain at a completely different starting point. "The only thing we can do now is to guard the Broken Cloud Mountain and report to the Lord to see how to deal with it. I don't have any other ideas now," Lei Hua said with a sigh. If it was a head-on battle, Lei Hua wouldn't be afraid. However, the situation was too unfavorable. He had fought with the dark spirit corpses before. Just when he was about to kill them, the dark spirit stone ran back to the Death Domain. Without absolute strength, it was impossible to kill them. Then, there was silence. No one had a solution. "Senior, is this spatial tunnel the same as the Death Domain of the Dark Island?" Night Sorrow asked. Now that the Dark Island was a hidden worry, Night Sorrow was very worried that this spatial tunnel wasn't the same. Then, the problem would be even more difficult to solve. Looking at the energy analysis, it's the same spatial tunnel. The types of dark creatures are also similar. If we're unlucky, there will be 2 of them. There are many dark spirit corpses in this spatial tunnel. The exact number is unknown. Most importantly, there are no conflicts between them. This means that they should have received orders. There should be a commander above them, Lei Hua said while rubbing his forehead. Night Sorrow's heart trembled. To be able to make a venerable rank dark spirit corpse obey, it could only be an expert stronger than them. "You guys go back. Go back and rest for a while before coming back. It has been very tiring to fight under such high pressure. Also, tell the Lord about the situation and see how to arrange it. I can't leave this place right now because there is a very strong dark spirit corpse. If I leave, the others will find it hard to hold on," Lei Hua said. Lei Hua didn't want Night Sorrow and the others to be ambushed by the dark spirit corpse. He and Qin Nan had already planned to kill the dark spirit corpse. Therefore, he was worried that the dark spirit corpse would do the same. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the current situation was very difficult to determine victory or defeat. It would be very difficult for the dark creatures to attack. After all, there were many venerables from the Eastern Xian region. If the Eastern Xian region wanted to win, they would have to solve some problems. Bring your subordinates back to rest. Pack up and leave, Lei Hua said to Night Sorrow. Chapter 427. Geniuses remember love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Following which, Night Sorrow led Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, and Ho Jian, as well as the members of the Blood Strike Guard, back to Starcloud City on their flying mounts. 13. The current situation is very bad. What kind of situation is this? I can't calm down, Yang Lei said. Auntie Fei said that this is a sign of chaos, but it doesn't matter. The Eastern Xian region isn't a place where the dark creatures can take over. Currently, only the subordinates of the City Lord's mansion are taking action. If Tianji Tower and the other superpowers take action, the dark creatures will definitely be annihilated. The main problem is the root of the problem. If we don't deal with the root of the problem, it will always be troublesome, Night Sorrow said. You're quite open-minded, but it does make sense. No one can watch the Eastern Xian region fall. Although Tianji Tower is a force spread across the 9 regions and 18 states, the Eastern Xian region is also the hometown of many of its members, Yang Lei nodded. If there's a battle, we'll fight. If there's no battle, we'll rest and cultivate. Don't think too much about it, Sikong Chuyu said. Yi Shang nodded and didn't think about it any further. It took a day for the group to reach Starcloud City. When they arrived at the teleportation array, they teleported to Dongxian City. The Starcloud sect didn't charge the teleportation array because everyone who came to this area was here to fight the dark creatures. They were all here to help the Starcloud sect. Naturally, they couldn't charge the teleportation array. After returning to Dongxian City, Night Sorrow led the Blood Strike Guard to a restaurant. After eating and drinking, he had them return to the City Lord's mansion to rest. Yi Shang planned to expand the residence. However, it was very difficult to expand Qing Xian Cottage. If he wanted to expand, he would have to buy the residences on both sides of Qing Xian Cottage. He planned to do this later. There was nothing that couldn't be done without crystal stones. He didn't lack crystal stones now. Night Sorrow asked Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu to take Ho Jian and the others to Qingxin Villa to rest, while he drove Tianyu to Tianji Tower. On the top floor of Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow saw Yin Shui. Night Sorrow, you're back. How's the situation over there? Silver Snow asked. Yi Shan then told him about the situation at Broken Cloud Mountain of Starcloud Sect. The situation is really serious. Law enforcement elder Ho Yuan has gone to the Dark Island. I have to stay here and report this situation to Lord K, Yin Shui said. Then I'll go see the branch master. Night Sorrow bowed to Yin Shui and drove Tianyu away from Tianji Tower. Yin Shui was stunned. In Tianji Tower, unless the branch master showed himself, only Lei Hua could contact him. However, now that Night Sorrow said that he was going to see the branch master, how could Yin Shui not be surprised? In the mountains north of Dongxian City, Yi Shang saw Wu Lingfei meditating and cultivating. Night Sorrow then told Wu Lingfei about the situation at Broken Cloud Mountain. This kind of situation is very helpless. Every space is a manifestation of the heavenly Tao and has a sense of self-preservation. The rules of the space passage should be in accordance with the heavenly Tao's trajectory. Wu Lingfei said. That's too unfair to our 9-domain world, Night Sorrow said. Some things can't be explained clearly. After all, the 9-domain world is broken and some of the rules are not complete. You don't have to worry. If they really have the strength, they will directly push in. They are not pushing in now because they don't have the confidence. Wu Lingfei sneered. Then I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. This is actually nothing. Every period and every era will have some turbulence. It's just that it's not that serious. If it's not serious, it's just a small episode. If it's serious, it's a chaotic world. Love Go Little Say Network. Chu Wu Lingfei shook her head and said. Then what should we do now? Night Sorrow asked. Either defend or violently sweep through that space. Aunt Fei will send a message. You don't have to worry about it. Go back and rest for a while, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that he couldn't do anything about it. Aunt Fei, I know this is your protective spirit treasure. I can't accept it. It will affect your combat strength, Night Sorrow said after controlling the Golden Phoenix soft armor. Take it. You are right. This is my protective spirit treasure, but it's not my main body. Wu Lingfei waved her arm and an identical Golden Phoenix soft armor appeared on her body. What's going on? Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei in surprise. He didn't understand what was going on. After Aunt Fei's protective spirit treasure evolved, it produced a secondary body. You are wearing the secondary body, so you don't have to worry about Aunt Fei's safety and combat strength. Although the situation is chaotic, it is still under Aunt Fei's control. Later, Aunt Fei can send some people from the City Lord's mansion and Tianji Tower. In fact, Aunt Fei can solve these problems now, but she doesn't want to delay her future because of this. Wu Lingfei looked at the Life Saint crystal in her hand, which had shrunk a lot. Aunt Fei can send people from Tianji Tower, but it's not easy to talk to the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow said. Haha. There are some things that Aunt Fei didn't tell you. Aunt Fei is not only the owner of Tianji Tower, but also the City Lord of Eastern Xian City. Therefore, Aunt Fei can control the situation in Eastern Xian region, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Night Sorrow was stunned. He used to think that Qin Nan was giving face to Tianji Tower, but now he understood that it wasn't the case. Okay, go. It's not a big deal. You can go back and rest. Wu Lingfei nodded to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow exhaled and suddenly felt very relieved. He took out 2 jars of wine and left them for Wu Lingfei. Then, he rode his Tianyu to the City Lord's mansion. In the City Lord's mansion, Night Sorrow saw Jing Cheng and Steward Lin. Night Sorrow came to find Steward Lin. Night Sorrow is here. We know about your situation on the Island of Darkness. You're ruthless. What business do you have in the City Lord's mansion? Jing Cheng asked. I'm here to find someone with a lot of face to help me with something. I'll have to trouble Steward Lin with this matter, Night Sorrow said. What's the matter? Enforcer Knight, just say it, Steward Lin said. It's like this. I want to buy a house on both sides of my residence. We won't bully people. I can pay a high price, even if they raise the price, Night Sorrow said. K only BC dollar unspecified currency genuine, OND, all, is T pirated due, Steward Lin and I will help you with this matter. However, you already have a house. Why do you still want to buy one? Lu Zhenyu appeared. He came back to communicate with the Guardian Elder and happened to hear Night Sorrow's words. Aren't I leading a team of guards? If the house is bigger and has a martial arts arena, it will be more convenient to give them some space, Night Sorrow said. It's like this. After I'm done with some things, I'll help you with it. You go ahead. I still have things to deal with. Lu Zhenyu said and entered the City Lord's mansion. Chapter 428. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go divided by Xiao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. After returning to Qingxin Villa, Night Sorrow found that a sumptuous feast had been prepared, but Ho Jian and the others were not there. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. Xiaom. After asking, Night Sorrow found out that they had taken the teleportation array back to their sect. They had not returned to their sect for a long time, so they had to go back and report the situation. Is everything done? Yang Lei asked. It's done. Let's drink. Next, we will cultivate and rest peacefully. Don't worry about anything else. This is such a big matter. It's not our turn to worry about it. Night Sorrow sat down and said with a smile. It seems like someone has reassured you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so calm. Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Yes, someone is handling these matters. Auntie Fei said that she would send people from Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion to deal with these matters. Night Sorrow said. It's not a problem for her to send people from Tianji Tower. The City Lord's mansion is just giving face. Would they listen to her? Yang Lei shook her head. I used to think so too. But after I learned more about the situation, I understood a lot. Auntie Fei is actually the City Lord of Dongxian City. Otherwise, why would Commander Qin Nan be so respectful to her? This also explains why the City Lord's mansion of Dongxian City appeared when Medicine Valley and Golden Flame sect were fighting. Night Sorrow said. So that's the case. They have helped us many times. It's just that we didn't know about it. Sikong Chuyu said with some emotion. Yes. Otherwise, Golden Flame sect's teleportation array and Golden Flame Palace wouldn't have fallen into the hands of Medicine Valley so easily. Yang Lei also sighed. This was something that they had never thought of. It can be said that Aunt Fei controls most of the power in the Eastern Xian domain. If she can mobilize all of them, then the situation in the Star Cloud sect is nothing. Night Sorrow said after drinking a mouthful of wine. After the three of them had a hearty drink, Night Sorrow let Tianyu and Silver Fox out and let them play in the garden and yard. Silver Fox's potential is very terrifying. After awakening his bloodline, he entered the 5th level of the core condensation realm and is not far from the 6th level. His future combat strength is beyond doubt, Sikong Chuyu said. Let nature take its course. Recently, I plan to study alchemy and refine some Tier 5 pills. We are all Tier 5, so we can't do without Tier 5 pills. Night Sorrow said. Forever J exempt $$ fee, look, small L says 1 after staying for a while. Yang Lei went to rest. When she left, she smiled maliciously at Sikong Chuyu. Sikong Chuyu was very smart. How could he not know what was going on? The three of them hadn't been alone for a long time. Moreover, she and Yang Lei knew that Night Sorrow had cultivated the outer part of the myriad Tao Tome. After staying for a while, Night Sorrow and Sikong Chuyu returned to the main building. Night Sorrow, I suddenly feel a little nervous. Did you change? Sikong Chuyu asked with a red face. It's just a little bit, it's fine. Yi Shang said as he sat beside Sikong Chuyu. Okay, if I stick my head out, then I'll be cut. It's not just my problem. Sikong Chuyu also gained some courage and hugged Yi Shang after she finished speaking. After hugging for a while, Night Sorrow carried Sikong Chuyu to the bed. Then, he gently untied Sikong Chuyu's skirt and covered Sikong Chuyu with a blanket. Then, he untied his battle robe and got into bed. The two of them hugged. Sikong Chuyu hesitated for a while. Then, he mustered his courage and reached out to touch Night Sorrow. Ah! This is a little change. Sikong Chuyu punched Night Sorrow's chest with his fist. I didn't want to. I just cultivated the outer part of the myriad Tao Tome. Because he had enough blood and qi, he changed a little. Night Sorrow smiled and pushed Sikong Chuyu down. Then, he leaned over and pressed himself on top of him. Ah! It hurts. You're going to kill me. Slow down. Sikong Chuyu cried out because it was beyond what she could bear. Then, Night Sorrow became gentle. He would not ignore other people's feelings just because he wanted to. The two of them worked together for a long time before they merged perfectly. Yi Shang, you finished cultivating, right? If you change again, you'll have to go through it alone. Sikong Chuyu said as she bit Night Sorrow's ear while feeling the pain that almost tore her apart. I'm done cultivating. I won't change anymore. Night Sorrow smiled and began to move. Slowly, Sikong Chuyu got used to it. This time, the two of them struggled for a long time before they finished. Night Sorrow carried Sikong Chuyu, who was weak all over, and took a shower before returning to bed. We finally passed this stage. I'm tired. Hug me and rest. Sikong Chuyu said as she rested her head on Night Sorrow's arm. Night Sorrow smiled and kissed Sikong Chuyu's forehead. Then, he hugged Sikong Chuyu's waist and the two of them really began to sleep. The two of them woke up at daybreak. Sikong Chuyu helped Yishang tidy up his robe and tidied up her skirt. To be honest, I slept very soundly after all this. She said this as she helped Yishang fix up his robe. Thank you for your hard work. I really didn't mean it. Night Sorrow said apologetically. He knew that he had changed a lot. Sikong Chuyu could barely endure last night. Don't think too much. Didn't we pass last night? It shouldn't be so difficult in the future. Sikong Chuyu held Night Sorrow's hand and said. After washing up, Night Sorrow went to the courtyard to practice spear arts. Sikong Chuyu sat at the side and watched. At this moment, she was like a little girl. Then, Yang Lei came over. Chuyu, your face is rosy. It's obvious that you've been nourished by rain and dew. Yeah. Ninth senior sister, are you worried? Sikong Chuyu was now more relaxed. They were all family, so she didn't mind. Oh my god. Is this still you? Yang Lei looked at Sikong Chuyu in surprise. Then, she looked at Night Sorrow who was practicing spear arts. You ran so fast yesterday, and now you're bullying me. Sikong Chuyu looked at Yang Lei and said. You're the first woman that 13 likes. You're the boss, so I have to be modest. Yang Lei said. She was joking, but she was also serious. She had always done this. Ninth senior sister, don't say that. It's just a joke. Sikong Chuyu quickly said. She naturally understood the meaning of Yang Lei's words. What are you two talking about? In a while, accompany me to buy some supplementary materials. Then, I'll come back and try to refine pills. I'll see if I can refine the Clear Void pill and Great Void pill. Night Sorrow said as he put away his reincarnation spear. Then let's go now. We also want to buy some robes. Yang Lei said. We must buy the robes. Other than the 2 robes that ninth senior sister made with top quality silk, I only have this one left. If it's destroyed, I'll be naked. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then let's go. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu stood up and pulled Night Sorrow outside. Chapter 429. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The one on the left is small, but the price is a bit higher. After all, no one wants to move, so it's 40 top-grade crystal stones. The one on the right is the mansion of an elder of the Thunder Rumbling sect. He heard that you want to buy it, so he also wants 40 top-grade crystal stones. He's a bit of a loss at this price. What do you think? Lu Zhenyu said. Since he's giving me face, I'll accept it. I can't let him suffer a loss. What's the normal price? Night Sorrow looked at Manager Lin and asked. The normal price should be 60 top-grade crystals, which is still priceless, Steward Lin said. How about this? We'll give you 80 top-grade crystals. If the one on the left wants a high price, we won't make it up. Night Sorrow said. This was his character. He didn't like to take advantage of others, but he didn't want anyone to take advantage of him. Sure. If that's the case, we'll still be friends. Lu Zhenyu was also very satisfied with Night Sorrow's decision. Then, Night Sorrow took out a small bag of top-grade crystal stones. There were about 150 of them. Steward Lin, I'll have to trouble you with this matter. Help me find a craftsman to deal with this. This is too much. I don't need it at all. With a glance, Steward Lin knew that Night Sorrow had taken out a lot more crystals. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com, it's nothing. Steward Lin, please help me arrange for them to rebuild it better, Night Sorrow said with a smile. All right then. You don't have to worry about this matter at night. I'll arrange it later, Steward Lin said. Then let's go in and have a drink first. Night Sorrow said to Lu Zhenyu and Manager Lin. Another day. This time, I still have some things to deal with. I have to go to Star Cloud Sect immediately. You know the situation there. There are a lot of things to deal with. Lu Zhenyu said. That's fine. Next time, I'll treat Elder Lu to a drink. Night Sorrow understood that Lu Zhenyu was indeed busy, so he didn't continue to insist. Then, Lu Zhenyu and Manager Lin left. Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu continued shopping to buy alchemy materials and robes. Now that Yi Shan was rich, he bought a lot of materials and made several sets of robes. The Dongxian city was rich, and he was rich, he had to have crystal stones. After buying everything, the three of them bought some food before returning to the house. Yi Shang began to pack up the materials and then took out the alchemy furnace. The failure of the first batch of clear void pills was within Yi Shang's expectations. After summarizing the experience of failure, he continued to refine. After failing 3 times in a row, Night Sorrow stopped concocting pills because he kept failing while condensing the pills. He took out Feng Chen's pill concoction manual and read it again. Night Sorrow found the crux of the problem. When condensing a 5th-level pill, he needed to use his soul power to control the process. This was also the reason why 5th-level pills were difficult to concoct. After sorting out his emotions and calming down, Night Sorrow continued to concoct pills. This time, he successfully concocted the clear void pill as he wished. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu took a look at the clear void pill and congratulated Night Sorrow. Love Go Little Say W. Chu successfully concocting a 5th-level pill meant that Night Sorrow's pill concoction level had reached the level of a great pill concoction master. After chatting for a while, Yang Lei greeted Night Sorrow and went into seclusion. She wanted to break through to the 3rd level of the Void Inquiry stage. NA Update O soonest 8 dB. With the help of the top-grade resources provided by Night Sorrow, Yang Lei had reached the peak of the 2nd level of the Void Inquiry stage for quite some time. She was now ready to make a breakthrough. Sikong Chuyu was also at the peak of the 2nd level of the Void Inquiry stage. However, she planned to stabilize her cultivation base first. Night Sorrow asked Sikong Chuyu to cultivate as well while he began his alchemy journey. In half a month's time, Night Sorrow had turned all the materials for the clear void pill into tier 5 clear void pills. There were over 200 bottles in total. This was definitely a heaven-defying amount of resources. In the various sects, there were almost no 5th-order supplementary medicinal pills. This was also the reason why there were many 5th-order cultivators but not many late 5th-order cultivators. Some of them were nurtured with the resources of their sects and families. The Clear Void Pill and Great Void Pill were the rewards for the unrestricted mission of the blood essence of ice spirits issued by the Tianji Tower. It could be seen how precious 5th-order medicinal pills were. In the Medicine Valley, it was already difficult to supply 4th-order medicinal pills, let alone 5th-order medicinal pills. After keeping the Clear Void Pill, Night Sorrow began to concoct the Great Void Pill. Night Sorrow was confident in concocting the Clear Void Pill. However, he was not confident in concocting the Great Void Pill because the Great Void Pill was a mid-5th-order medicinal pill. It was much more difficult than the Clear Void Pill. With a lot of materials in hand and feeling that his soul power had improved by a lot, Night Sorrow did not hesitate to continue concocting. With the help of his soul power, Night Sorrow was very lucky. He succeeded in concocting the Great Void Pill on his first try. With the experience of success, Night Sorrow continued to concoct. At night, he cultivated his true chi, myriad Tao Tome, and soul power. During the day, he concocted medicinal pills. While Night Sorrow improved his cultivation, he also turned the materials of the Great Void Pill into medicinal pills. When Night Sorrow put away the alchemy furnace, Steward Lin came. This was not the first time he had come. During this period, he often came because he was in charge of the demolition and reconstruction of the houses on both sides of the Tranquil Heart Villa. The expansion drawings were drawn by Sikong Chuyu. She changed the layout of the 3 houses. The small courtyard where the 3 of them lived did not change because the backyard was deeper. The construction and reconstruction in the front were not affected. The house on the left side of the Tranquil Heart Villa was completely rebuilt into a residence and a small garden. The larger area on the right side was transformed into a pure garden and a large martial arts practice field. Tomorrow, the 3 houses will be connected. After the connection is completed, the reconstruction here will be almost finished, Steward Lin said. I have to thank Steward Lin for this. If I was busy with it, I don't know how long it would take. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Steward Lin and said, Let's have a simple meal here at noon. Yang Lei, who had successfully broken through and had eaten the void transformation pill which increased her cultivation base to the peak of the void inquiry stage after stabilizing her cultivation base, walked out and said, You don't have to be so polite. I still have some things to deal with. If you need anything, you can just inform me in the City Lord's mansion. Steward Lin cupped his fists at Night Sorrow and left. Currently, he was very concerned about Night Sorrow's work. He also had some reverence for him. The first time he helped Night Sorrow with something was arranged by Lei Hua. This time, it was arranged by Lu Zhenyu. As long as Steward Lin was not a fool, he would know that Night Sorrow's position in the City Lord's mansion was not as simple as a law enforcer. After the construction here, it won't be a house anymore. It will be a huge mansion. There aren't many mansions like this in Eastern Profound City. Yang Lei said with a smile. She was happy that Night Sorrow had such an achievement. Chuyu has been in seclusion for 2 days, but there is still no news from her. Night Sorrow said while looking at Sikong Chuyu's house. It's just a breakthrough. There is no need to worry, Yang Lei said. I know. Besides, I have concocted a lot of 5th grade pills during this period of time. Let's return to the Medicine Valley later and send the pills back to the sect. My senior martial brother and 6th senior martial sister need them, Night Sorrow said. All right. They will definitely be very happy, Yang Lei said. Chapter 430. Genius remembers love in 1 second go. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Did you just realize that 9th senior sister is beautiful? Yang Lei said with a smile. I've always known. Night Sorrow took Yang Lei's hand and walked towards the main building. What are you doing? It's broad daylight. Yang Lei blushed. How could she not know what Night Sorrow was thinking? This has nothing to do with day or night. When they reached the entrance of the main building, Night Sorrow bent down and picked up Yang Lei. Yang Lei hugged Night Sorrow's neck and leaned her head on Night Sorrow's chest. After entering the bedroom, Night Sorrow put Yang Lei, who had just taken a shower and whose hair was still wet, on the bed. Then, he stripped Yang Lei, took off his clothes and pounced on her. You. Seeing Night Sorrow's change, Yang Lei's rosy face was full of shock. Hey. It's okay. Night Sorrow pressed on Yang Lei's body. How can it be okay? You're too scary. Yang Lei pushed Night Sorrow's chest and said. Chuyu is fine. Night Sorrow said and kissed Yang Lei's red lips at the same time. When Night Sorrow hugged her back to the room, she was aroused. Just now, she was just scared by Night Sorrow. Now, after being attacked by Night Sorrow, she immediately entered the zone. After a crazy toss, the two didn't rest until the afternoon sun shone in through the window. You don't care about senior sister at all. Yang Lei rolled her eyes at Night Sorrow and took her skirt to take a shower. After taking a shower, the two went to the courtyard and drank tea in the cool breeze. When are we going back to Medicine Valley? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. It's fine. There's no rush. Let's wait for Chuyu to finish her seclusion. She can go to Bamboo Forest Peak to stabilize her cultivation. I can also go to Danding Cliff to cultivate, Night Sorrow said. While the two of them were talking, Sikong Chuyu, who was wearing a light yellow silk dress, came out of the room and into the courtyard. Sikong Chuyu sat down and said, "Judging from the redness on your faces and the fact that you've just taken a shower, I knew you two were up to no good. Chuyu, we plan to go back to the Medicine Valley and deliver some medicinal pills to our senior brothers and sisters." Night Sorrow changed the topic. "Sure. I also prefer the Bamboo Forest Peak and the Dragon Spring Courtyard. After I stabilize my cultivation there, eating the void pill is the same," Sikong Chuyu said. "Alright, let's set off now. We'll rest at Bamboo Forest Peak tonight." "Love go little say," Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow was a person who did what he said. He didn't like to drag things out. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei had no objections. Night Sorrow went to the front yard and greeted Ning Qingfeng. The house was still under construction, so he had to inform Ho Jian and the others when they arrived. After greeting Ning Qingfeng, the three of them rode on their flying demonic beasts and took off from Qingxin Cottage, flying toward the teleportation array. Their flying mounts attracted a lot of attention because their mounts were all top grade. Tianyu's body was snow white, and his beak and claws were glowing with a greenish gold light. Anyone who wasn't a fool would know that he was a demonic beast. Yang Lei's rank 5 black-feathered eagle was also very handsome. It should be known that rank 5 mounts were very rare. Sikong Chuyu's fire phoenix was very beautiful. At this time, its cultivation had reached rank 4, level 7. "Chuyu, if your fire phoenix wants to advance, it needs an opportunity," Yang Lei said. "Yes, it is now an adult. If there is no opportunity, it can only reach the peak of rank 4, Sikong Chuyu said. "Love go little say ku, don't worry. As long as it's possible, there will be a chance," Night Sorrow said. "You can count on Night Sorrow. I don't see anything he can't do," Yang Lei said after the three of them got off their mounts at the teleportation array. Night Sorrow only smiled. He could only try his best. He couldn't refuse. After paying the teleportation fee, the three of them were teleported to Danding City. Looking at the glittering golden flame palace, Night Sorrow and Yang Lei gave up on the idea of seeing Yu Yangyu. No one knew if Yu Yangyu was cultivating or not. The three of them walked around the city lord's mansion. Yang Lei asked about the situation symbolically, then rode her flying beast to Longquan Courtyard. After not seeing Aoi and the people from Taishan Peak at Longquan Courtyard, the three of them flew towards Danding Mountain. Soon, the three of them arrived at Taishan Peak. In the Taishan Palace, Night Sorrow saw Wu Qi and Huanan. "Third senior brother. You're back too." Looking at Huanan, Night Sorrow greeted him happily. "Golden Flame City is already on track. I didn't have anything to do, so I came back to take a look. I haven't been separated from my senior and junior brothers, so I missed them," Huanan said. "Then we're all here. I'll send someone to call eldest senior brother over. Let's get together tonight." 13. Your cultivation speed is really shocking. Your senior brothers and sisters will be very happy to see you, Wu Qi said emotionally. He was at the peak of the spirit severing stage and was still refining his qi. Then, Wu Qi sent a disciple from Taishan Peak to inform the other senior and junior brothers. Then, the three of them walked towards the bamboo grove. Before they even arrived at the bamboo grove, they could already hear Qing Ji's tender roar, as well as the screams of other people. When they arrived, they saw what was going on. Aoi was teaching her and Yang Lei's disciples a lesson. Unavoidably, she was holding a rattan in her hand. "Ninth junior sister, 13, Chuyu, you're all back. Originally, I planned to call third senior brother over for a drink tonight. Now, I have to call the others over." Aoi raised her hand and threw the rattan to Shenrong, who was beaten up just now. "Greetings, senior uncles." Shenrong, who was holding the rattan, brought the other junior brothers and sisters to greet them. "Look at your 13th senior uncle. He's already at the void inquiry stage." 13, you've advanced to the void inquiry stage. After checking Night Sorrow's cultivation base, Aoi was stunned. She was now at the 8th level of the spirit severing stage. She could see Night Sorrow's cultivation base. I just broke through some time ago. Night Sorrow pulled Aoi to sit down and said. Among his senior brothers and sisters, other than Yang Lei, he was the closest to Aoi. You rascal. Every time we don't meet for a while, you'll scare your senior sister. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said. Senior sister, how have you been recently? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. What do you mean? None of these bastards are easy to deal with. They joined the sect 1 year after you and 2 of them joined the sect at the same time as you. None of them can compare to you. Aoi said angrily. Master, if all of us can be compared to 13th senior uncle, then our Medicine Valley will unify the entire Eastern Profound region. Shenrong mumbled. You still dare to talk back? Aoi said and was about to teach Shenrong a lesson. 6th junior sister, Shenrong is right. They are indeed very hard-working. It's only right for them to set 13 as their goal. However, you can't use 13 standards against them. Gong Xian appeared in the bamboo grove with a smile. Eldest senior brother. Night Sorrow and the others bowed to greet him. Chapter 431. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. It has been 2.5 years since I entered the sect. Yi Shan nodded. Yi Shan nodded. All right. Senior brother has nothing to say. Once everyone is here, we'll start drinking. How delightful. Gong Xian said with a smile. In just a short while, Night Sorrow's senior martial brothers had all arrived at the small building in the bamboo forest. When they saw Night Sorrow's cultivation base, all of them were extremely shocked. Well, there's no need to talk about how fast his cultivation base has improved. My senior martial brothers probably don't know about how 13 killed a void inquiry stage dark zombie all by himself. Yang Lei said with a smile. 13th hockey. Shi Tianlin gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Currently, Yu Yang Yu's disciples were progressing towards the void inquiry stage 1 after another. Gong Xian, Yang Lei, and Hua Nan had all entered the void inquiry stage. Currently, Mo Chen's cultivation base was at the 5th level of the spirit severing stage, followed by the 8th level of the spirit severing stage. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com. I'll give everyone some more resources, Night Sorrow said. 13, senior brother and senior sister can't finish the resources you gave us last time. We don't need them anymore, Aoi said. Last time, I gave you tier 4 cultivation resources. This time, it's something else. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he took out a portion of the clear void pills and great void pills he had refined. Aoi reached out and opened the pill bottle. After taking a look, she was stunned. It's a 5th grade clear void pill, and it's fresh out of the furnace. 35, they were all made by 13 recently. Yang Lei proudly hugged Night Sorrow's arm and said. These 2 bottles contain clear void pills. There are exactly 3 pills for each person. Night Sorrow pointed at 2 of the bottles and said. 13, if you can concoct rank 5 pills, then you're an alchemy grandmaster. Aoi, who had been studying alchemy, said. It doesn't matter if I'm a master or not. What's important is that senior brother and senior sister need the medicinal pills. I can refine them, Night Sorrow said. Haha. After 13 entered the sect, everyone's luck turned for the better. There was no shortage of cultivation resources, and everyone's cultivation base rose in a straight line, Gong Xian said with a smile. After that, Wu Qi and the others distributed the clear void pills and void pills. Here are 20 bottles of clear void pills. Eldest senior brother, you take them. When senior brother and senior sister need them, you can distribute them. Night Sorrow took out some more pills. 13, put it away. You need it too. Senior brother and senior sister only need some. Gong Xian said with a frown. He did not want to delay his own cultivation just because Night Sorrow wanted to help others. Eldest senior brother, don't worry. I can concoct pills myself. I don't lack medicinal pills, Night Sorrow said with a shake of his head. Alright, second junior brother, you take them. It's not suitable for me to take them. Why don't I distribute the resources to the others in the Medicine Valley? Gong Xian said with a smile. Sixth junior sister, you take them. It's not suitable for me and eldest senior brother to take these resources, Wu Qi said with a smile. That's true. You are both people of status. One is responsible for all the disciples in the Medicine Valley, and the other is responsible for all the disciples in the Taishan Peak. However, 13's current resources are only for senior brother and senior sister, Hua Nan said. All right. Then I'll take them. If you need them, come to me. I'll be your housekeeper, Aoi said with a smile. Eldest senior brother, what's Master's situation now? Where is he? Night Sorrow asked. Gong Xian then told him about Yu Yangyu's situation. Yu Yangyu had been staying in the Golden Flame Hall to cultivate. He had entered the Venerable Realm and had the help of the Golden Flame Hall, so he was currently improving his cultivation at full speed. Knowing that Yu Yangyu was improving his cultivation at full speed, Night Sorrow dismissed the idea of paying him a visit. After drinking together, Night Sorrow and the other two returned to the Bamboo Forest Peak. Ninth senior sister, Chuyu, I plan to go to Danding Cliff to cultivate for a while and improve my cultivation, Night Sorrow said after sitting in the courtyard of the Bamboo Forest Peak and drinking a pot of tea. Alright, go ahead. While I'm stabilizing my cultivation, Chuyu also needs to do the same. After that, she'll take the void level pill and cultivate, Yang Lei said. After that, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu to Danding Cliff. After sending Tianyu away, Night Sorrow bowed to Elder Su and began to climb the cliff. Seeing Night Sorrow climbing the cliff, Elder Su did not need anyone to report to him and directly returned to the Danding Palace. At this moment, Gong Xian, the Great Elder and Chu Ling Xiao were talking in the Danding Palace. Elder Su is here. Take a seat. The Great Elder waved his hand at Elder Su. Elder Su might be the weakest among the elders in the Medicine Valley, but he was definitely the most respected one because he had dedicated everything he had to the Medicine Valley. Great Elder, do you know that 13 has advanced to the 5th rank Void Inquiry stage? Elder Su asked excitedly. We're just talking about it. Not only did he advance to the 5th rank, but he also concocted quite a number of 5th rank pills and distributed them to his senior martial brother and senior martial sister. This means that he's also a pill refinement master. The Great Elder said with a smile. The sect must pay attention to this. We must. He's the hope of our Medicine Valley. Elder Su said excitedly. Elder Su, don't be so excited. The main thing is, how can we pay attention to him? He doesn't want to be the young valley master even if we offered him the position. It's not like he lacks resources. The Great Elder said with a bitter smile. That's right. He really doesn't need anything. He has done too much for the Medicine Valley. From finding the Sacred Cauldron scripture to defeating the Golden Flame sect, every single one of his deeds is of great significance to the Medicine Valley. Finding the Sacred Cauldron scripture is equivalent to rebirth the Medicine Valley. Defeating the Golden Flame sect and allowing the Medicine Valley to stand tall in the Eastern Profound Domain. Elder Su said emotionally. Wait a moment. I'll go and ask Grand Elder Hua and the other Grand Elders for their opinions. This matter is giving me a headache too. The Great Elder said. Elder Su nodded and left the Pill Cauldron Hall. Night Sorrow directly rushed to 7,000 meters and continued climbing upwards. Normally, climbing from 7,000 meters to 7,100 meters should not be too stressful. However, that was not the case. Night Sorrow exhausted all his true qi, the energy of the myriad Tao Tome and the spiritual qi of the profound jade to reach the 7,100 meter platform. Sitting on the 7,100 meter platform, Night Sorrow began his cultivation. After cultivating for 5 days, Night Sorrow cultivated the energy of the myriad Tao Tome to the 7th level of the consolidation realm. While stabilizing the cultivation of the myriad Tao Tome, Night Sorrow cultivated his soul power and true qi. At the same time, the energy of his innate bloodline was constantly rushing towards the 4th energy point. Staying on the 7,100-meter platform, Night Sorrow began his daily cultivation. Time slipped away bit by bit. Night Sorrow cultivated for 1 month, and only then did his true qi cultivation reach the peak 1st level of the void inquiry stage. The pressure of the 7,100-meter platform was not small. However, with the protection of the energy of the myriad Tao Tome, Night Sorrow began to break through on the spot. Since his true qi was abundant, it was not difficult for Night Sorrow to condense his true qi halo. After spending half a day, his true qi cultivation base reached the 2nd level of the void inquiry stage. After that, he stabilized his true qi cultivation base and continued cultivating the myriad Tao Tome and his soul power. Chapter 432. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow did not continue climbing Danding Cliff. Riding on his Tianyu, he arrived at the North Pole Peak. Night Sorrow saw Qin Jin practicing swordsmanship in the valley where Yan Bebe was cultivating. Night Sorrow. When he saw Yishang, Qin Jin waved his hand and put away his long sword. He directly arrived in front of Yishang and punched Yishang's shoulder. What, Night Sorrow? Call him martial uncle. Yan Beiji came out and reprimanded Qin Jin. Martial uncle Yan, Qin Jin and I are brothers. Let's not talk about other things, Night Sorrow said. That's right, martial uncle. I don't think Night Sorrow will care about these things, Qin Jin said. All right then. All right, you two can continue chatting. Yishang, you've made a big fuss. You've entered the 5th stage before the age of 20. Now, the Great Elder is looking for the Grand Elder and the Peak Lords to discuss your matter. You two can continue chatting. Yan Bei smiled and left the colonel. Stage 5? Night Sorrow, you've entered stage 5? Qin Jin looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. I just entered not long ago, Night Sorrow said as he took out a jar of wine. The distance between us is getting bigger and bigger. Qin Jin's face darkened. Your cultivation speed is already amazing. Take it slow. What's the rush? Night Sorrow said with a smile. I want to get closer to you as soon as possible so that I can train with you, but... Qin Jin said with a sigh. What does this have to do with cultivation? If you want to go out, we can go out together. However, the outside world is very dangerous. Most of the time, we're walking the line between life and death, Night Sorrow said. Really? I don't care about life and death. Life and death are predestined. Aren't cultivators supposed to fight against the heavens? Qin Jin said with a smile. That's good. You can talk to Martial Uncle Yan later. If he agrees, you can go to the bamboo forest peak to look for me. I'll be returning to Dongxian City soon, Night Sorrow said. All right then, I'll look for you later. The Qin Jin was so excited that he gulped down the wine jug in one gulp. Night Sorrow gave the spirit congealing pills and meditation pills in the storage ring to Qin Jin, and then drove Tianyu back to the bamboo forest peak. The 2nd grade of the void inquiry stage. You're advancing 1 grade per month. Don't tell me you're planning to break through to the venerable realm within a year? Yang Lei said with a smile. He, 9th senior sister, stop joking around, Night Sorrow said with a chuckle. At this time, except for Yang Yu, all the high-ranking officials of the Medicine Valley were present in the Pill Tripod Hall. Then, the Great Elder told them about Night Sorrow's situation. There has never been a void inquiry stage cultivator who is less than 20 years old in the history of cultivation. However, such a person has appeared in our Medicine Valley. Now, tell us about his arrangements. Hua Yunpeng said. The problem is that he isn't interested in the position of the young Valley Lord. What can we do? He has plenty of pills and resources. It can be said that we can't give him anything. Yen Beiji said. This is really a difficult problem to solve. Duan Lei of the Cloud Sea Peak said. A void inquiry stage cultivator is qualified to become an elder. However, he's only 20 years old. It's not suitable for him to be an elder. The great elder knocked his walking stick on the ground and said. Then we'll add another Vice Valley Lord. He doesn't need to be in charge of anything. He's the signboard that we want. Hua Yunpeng said. After that, everyone passed. Night Sorrow became the third Vice Valley Lord of the Medicine Valley. Of course, Night Sorrow was still unaware of it. This guy is really troublesome. While he solved the problem of our Medicine Valley, he also gave us a difficult problem. The Great Elder said with a smile. Although it's a difficult problem, I feel that the more such problems there are, the better. Duan Lei said with a smile. While Night Sorrow was drinking tea and chatting with the two women, Hua Yunpeng and the Great Elder arrived. When they arrived, they directly placed a token in front of Night Sorrow. What kind of token is this? Yang Lei took the token and took a look at it. After taking a look at it, Yang Lei was stunned because there was a golden medicinal cauldron on the token. The token of a Vice Valley Lord? It's the token of a Vice Valley Lord. 13. The sect can't give you anything. This is your token in the Medicine Valley. Hua Yunpeng said. Look at Section B of Chapter M of the FS version. Supreme Elder, Great Elder, this is not appropriate. I don't have time to manage anything. Hurry up and take back the order. Night Sorrow said with a bow. It's too late. Your eldest senior brother and senior brother Chu have already informed all the disciples of the Medicine Valley. Almost all the disciples of the Medicine Valley probably know about this. If you refuse, it will be a slap in the face to me and the Supreme Elder. The Great Elder said with a smile as he took the tea that Sikong Chuyu brewed. Disciple can only accept the order, but I really don't have time to manage this matter. Night Sorrow said. There are some things that everyone knows. No one arranged for you to do anything. In the future, you can do whatever you want. Just know that the Medicine Valley is your home. Hua Yunpeng nodded and said. While they were talking, Qingjin arrived at the bamboo forest peak on his tiger eagle. Kid, why are you here? The Great Elder looked at Qingjin and asked. Disciple has asked Grandmaster. I want to follow Martial Uncle Yi to explore the world. Qingjin bowed to Hua Yunpeng and the Great Elder and said his decision. Good. You and Night Sorrow are the most outstanding disciples in the history of the Medicine Valley. Your path is indeed outside. I won't stop you. The Great Elder nodded and said. After chatting for a while, Hua Yunpeng and the Great Elder left. While Night Sorrow was resting in the Medicine Valley, people from the Eastern Xian region headquarters came again. It was the headquarters supervisor, Lan Yuxuan, and two other men. Chief Enforcer Yin Shui, is Night Sorrow here? After arriving at the headquarters of the Tianji Tower, Lan Yuxuan directly asked about Night Sorrow's situation. Some time ago, after Night Sorrow had entered the Fifth Order, the Eastern Xian region's Tianjin Tower had reported his situation to the headquarters. If he passed the examination, then Night Sorrow's Heaven's Fate test would officially end. He should have returned to the Medicine Valley. Yin Shui said. We'll have to trouble Chief Enforcer Yin Shui to take us there. The other supervisor said. I can't leave the Tianji Tower yet. The situation in the Eastern Xian region is complicated. I have to stay here. Yin Shui said. What's wrong? What's the problem? Lan Yuxuan asked. Yin Shui then explained the recent situation in the Eastern Xian region. It's really serious. You should tell the headquarters about this. We'll bring some people over. Lan Yuxuan said. Don't worry. It's still under Master K's control. Yin Shui said. How about this? Chief Enforcer Yin Shui, send someone to inform Night Sorrow to return. We'll also go to the dark space to take a look. This isn't a small matter. The headquarters should know about the Tianji Tower in the eastern Xian region. Lan Yuxuan said. All right, I'll arrange for someone to call him over. Yin Shui said. Chapter 433. A genius remembering love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I'm very sorry about that. Normally, the branch master only sends orders, and I can't see him. However, Yi Shang can see the branch master. When Yi Shang comes, we'll talk about this, said Yin Shui. I've long heard of Master Wu Kei's fame, but I've never had the chance to meet her, a man said. Guan Yun, Supervisor Yin Shui, you should know him. This is Supervisor Ling, Lan Yuxuan introduced. The one who wanted to meet Consort Wu was Ling Jian. Supervisor Ling, I've been in the eastern Xian region for a long time, but I've only met Master Wu Kei twice, Yin Shui said with a smile. There are only a few people who can be called invincible in the 9 regions and 18 prefectures, and Master Wu Kei is the strongest among them. It's a pity that I can't meet her, Ling Jian said with a sigh. Yes. Master Wu Kei is unwilling to leave the eastern Xian region, otherwise. Lan Yuxuan didn't continue. Night Sorrow was talking to Qin Jin about the outside world. I'm now a purple follower of Tianji Tower. I don't know when I'll have the qualifications to join Tianji Tower, Qin Jin said with clenched fists. Once you reach the 4th step, you'll have the qualifications to join the Black Watch. It won't take long. When we return to Dongxian City, I'll talk to the higher-ups and enlist you in the Blood Strike Guard, Night Sorrow said to Qin Jin. Thank you, Marshal Uncle 13. I'm still not used to calling you Marshal Uncle, Qin Jin said while rubbing the back of his head. We were friends and brothers before we entered the Medicine Valley. So don't worry about this issue of seniority when we're not in the sect, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then I'll call you Brother 13. Qin Jin bowed to Night Sorrow. Okay, that's it. Night Sorrow helped Qin Jin up. While they were chatting, Enforcer Dong arrived at the bamboo forest peak with a man wearing a bronze mask. Lord Yi, Tianji Tower hopes that you can return as soon as possible, the masked Tianji Tower inspector said. All right, I will return to Dongxian City tonight, Night Sorrow said to the Tianji Tower inspector. This time, there are a few big shots from the headquarters. I guess they are here to investigate your affairs. It's better to go back early. The inspector from Tianji Tower bowed to Night Sorrow and left. After the people from Tianji Tower left, Night Sorrow looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Let's bid farewell to senior brother and head to Dongxian City. The situation there is rather tense. Baidu search love go xiao say www.aichux.com. Alright. Qin Jin, do you have anything else? If not, we will depart in a bit, Yang Lei asked Qin Jin. No, we can depart at any time. Qin Jin was in high spirits. 13, I can't be an unqualified master. I plan to bring Jiang Ziming and the others to Dongxian City and let them see more. After all, our mansion is big enough. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. All right, we have 4 flying mounts. We can teleport them to Danding City. Night Sorrow nodded. After bidding farewell to Aoi and the others, Night Sorrow brought Jiang Ziming, Xiang Ding, and He Miao to Danding City and teleported to Dongxian City. Senior Sister Jiu, Chuyu, bring them around Dongxian City and broaden their horizons. I will go to Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow said after exiting the teleportation formation. N. Go ahead. Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei nodded. Night Sorrow rode on his Tianyu and rose into the sky. After putting on his mask, he went straight to Tianji Tower. On the top floor of Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow saw Yin Shui, Lan Yuxuan, Ling Jian, and Guan Yun. Second grade void inquiry stage cultivation base. Chi essence that is over 3 zhang *3. 33 m per zhang, long. Lan Yuxuan took a deep breath and said after seeing Night Sorrow. There is no problem with your cultivation base. Night Sorrow, can I check your bone age? This is related to the records of our Tianji Tower. Guan Yun asked. Night Sorrow looked at Guan Yun and stretched out his arm. Lan Yuxuan took a step forward and placed her hand on Night Sorrow's wrist. Then, she retreated. Bone age 19. Night Sorrow, do you mind if I give it a try as well? I just want to confirm it. Ling Jian looked at Night Sorrow and asked. He could tell that Night Sorrow did not intend to let others continue to check his bone age after he retracted his arm. I'm from the eastern Xian region. I really don't care if you acknowledge me or not. You don't have the most basic trust in me, said Yishang. He felt somewhat disgusted at being interrogated like a criminal. You misunderstood. We are not suspecting you. It's just that this matter is very important. Otherwise, the three of us wouldn't have come here. Lan Yuxuan looked at Night Sorrow, who was frowning, and said. Night Sorrow, there is no distinction between our Tianji Tower. Lord Supervisor Lan just returned from Jianghai City and is very concerned about our matters here. So don't think too much. Yin Shui could tell that Night Sorrow was a little conflicted with Lan Yuxuan and the other two. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and stretched out his arm again. Ling Jian stretched out his finger to check Night Sorrow's bone age. Then, he nodded to Lan Yuxuan, Ling Jian, and Guan Yun. Chief Protector Yin Shui, his heavens rank assessment has officially ended. Lan Yuxuan said to Night Sorrow. This is a good thing. It seems that in the past 300 years, there hasn't been a member who has completed the 5-star assessment in our Tianji Tower. Yin Shui said. If it was 3 years ago, it would be like this. But not now. 3 years ago, there was a member who completed the 5-star assessment in the southernly region. Lan Yuxuan said. There are really many talented people. Yin Shui sighed. Night Sorrow, when you completed the 4-star assessment, the headquarters issued you a Heaven's Rank mask. However, it didn't have much authority. Now that you have completed the Heaven's Rank assessment, the situation has changed. There are also some special authorities. This is the Tianji Tower's Heaven's Rank Envoy token. After you go to the headquarters to meet the Chief Tower Master, you will officially become the Tianji Tower's Heaven's Rank Envoy. Lan Yuxuan handed a golden token to Night Sorrow. Yishang also handed over his old command medallion. These are the resources you need to reach the 5th rank. There are also 300 high-grade crystals. Lan Yuxuan took out some resources from her storage ring. Thank you, Lord Supervisor. Night Sorrow bowed to Lan Yuxuan. You're welcome. In addition, you also have some authorities. For example, Tianji Tower will provide you with weapons that match your attributes and rank. Guan Yun said with a smile. I don't need that for the time being. Night Sorrow said as he touched the reincarnation spear on his back. All right then. Whenever you have any needs, just tell us. Whatever the Extreme Celestial Tower can do, we will do it for you. You know that the Extreme Celestial Tower is a sect that can be found throughout the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. But we only have a few disciples. Do you understand? Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 434. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I believe you. Yishan nodded. Yishan nodded. Our Tianji Tower's members roam the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. Which force dares to provoke us? This is because they know the consequences. This is a tradition left behind by our ancestors. As long as you enter the Tianji Tower, you will be protected with all your strength, Lan Yuxuan said. However, Night Sorrow, you have to pay attention to another point. We, Tianji Tower, are proud. If you are defeated and killed by a cultivator of the same level, you can only say that you are not as good as them. No one else will care. Yin Shui reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He was not afraid of such a challenge. Okay, you just came back from the Medicine Valley. You must be tired. Go and rest. Lan Yushuan said. Yishang nodded and left the Celestial Terminus Tower. After returning to Qingxin Cottage, Night Sorrow stood at the gate and looked around, feeling very satisfied. At this time, the Qingxin villa looked very grand. It was not the kind of luxurious style, but rather delicate with a sense of grandeur. Night Sorrow strode into the mansion. The three mansions were connected, and the rebuilt Qingxin Cottage occupied a large area. Hearing some movement on the left, Night Sorrow walked over. After arriving, Night Sorrow saw Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu arranging accommodations for Yang Lei's disciples. Not bad. This is very good. In the future, let the brothers of the Blood Strike Guard move in as well. They will be able to see the Blood Strike Guard's cultivation and fighting style, Night Sorrow said. Is Tianji Tower looking for you for something? Sikong Chuyu asked. It's nothing. After I entered the Void Inquiry stage, the Heaven Rank trial officially ended. Then, he gave me a token. Night Sorrow said. It's a good thing that the Heaven's Fate assessment has ended. I've been so busy that I forgot about it, Yang Lei said. There are too many people here, and we don't have enough servants. We need to buy another batch of maidservants. Night Sorrow turned to look at the situation in the house and said. After that, Night Sorrow and the others went to buy 6 or 7 maidservants to take care of the chores in the house. In the evening, Night Sorrow began to cultivate. He was now in a relatively special stage. If his true chi could smoothly increase by another level, then he could eat the Void Dan and increase his cultivation by another level. Another thing was that Night Sorrow's 4th bloodline talent was loosening, but Night Sorrow knew that it wouldn't be that easy to activate it. Look at the original chapter. After analyzing the process of activating the first 3 bloodline energy points, Night Sorrow knew that it would be more difficult to activate the latter bloodline energy points. Not to mention the first and second bloodline energy points, when activating the 3rd bloodline energy point, Night Sorrow experienced twice the difficulty of activating the 2nd bloodline energy point. Night Sorrow felt that activating the 4th bloodline energy point would require twice the amount of energy and difficulty compared to activating the 3rd bloodline energy point. However, Night Sorrow wasn't in a hurry. As long as he could activate it, it would be fine. The length of time wasn't a big problem. Every time Night Sorrow cultivated, he would rely on the Ice Spirit Blood Essence and Soul Crystal. In addition, he also consumed the Spiritual Liquid of Origin, which allowed him to improve in several aspects at the same time. He was very interested in the soul extinguishing / left behind by the Dark Spirit Saint. Night Sorrow wasn't a newbie. He already understood the importance of the soul. The body and the soul were the 2 most important parts of all life forms. When the soul was damaged, even if it didn't die, it would be an idiot. High-level cultivators could achieve an indestructible soul. Even if they didn't have a body, they could still survive. Through this, it could be analyzed that the soul was more important than the body. Cultivators and monsters below the 5th level didn't open up the deep sea, but the soul still existed. It was just that there wasn't an obvious way to manifest it. The soul extinguishing / was a killing move that specialized in attacking the soul. This was also the reason why the Dark Spirit Saint could perish together with his opponent even though his attributes were restrained by the Life Saintess. Night Sorrow cultivated, and so did the others. However, it was only quiet for a few days. This was because Ho Jian, Lei Bao, Lei Zheng, and Nan Liyue had all returned. Ho Jian also brought Ho Qingjie with him. Ho Qingjie had also passed the Tianji Tower's dark notice some time ago. He was officially recruited into the Tianji Tower and became a patrol. Night Sorrow introduced Qin Zhen to the others. Before we arrived at the Medicine Valley, you were able to stand on the same side as Night Sorrow. There's nothing to say. You're a true brother. Qin Zhen, you're Night Sorrow's brother, so you're our brother, Lei Bao said as he patted Qin Zhen's shoulder. Hurry up and enter the 4th level. Our team is waiting for you to join us, Ho Jian also said. Qin Zhen nodded at the others. His face was full of excitement. However, he opened his mouth to say something, but nothing came out. Qin Zhen isn't good at communicating. That's how it is. Regarding cultivation, what do you all have to talk about? Let's go and eat. Night Sorrow waved his arm and led the group to a restaurant to eat and drink. After Night Sorrow finished drinking and brought the group back to the mansion, he met Yin Shui at the door. Chief Enforcer Yin Shui, why are you here? Is something the matter? Night Sorrow asked. Yes. I didn't tell you last time. Inspector Lan and the other two want to meet our K-Lord. When I saw you last time, I forgot to mention this matter. They went to Jianghai City a few days ago to fight and help us stabilize the situation. When they came back, they brought this matter up again. However, I can't contact K-Lord. Currently, only you can contact K-Lord. Yin Shui revealed the purpose of her visit to Night Sorrow. I don't know if K-Lord will meet them, but I can pass on the message, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. Alright, then I'll go back. As for whether K-Lord will meet them or not, you can go to Tianji Tower and inform him, Yin Shui nodded to Night Sorrow. She also knew that no one could make the decision for Wu Lingfei. In addition, although Lan Yuxuan and the others were important figures in the eyes of others, they weren't much in Wu Lingfei's eyes. Cultivation determined height, and Wu Lingfei had this height. After letting Yang Lei and the others return to the mansion, Night Sorrow rode his Tianyu to the mountain peak where Wu Lingfei cultivated. Seeing Yi Shang arrive, Wu Lingfei, who had been meditating, opened her eyes and pointed at a rock not far from her. Aunt Fei, people from Tianji Tower's headquarters are here. I passed the Tianji Tower's Heaven's Fate assessment. Night Sorrow bowed to Wu Lingfei. You entered the fifth order before the age of 20, so it's natural for you to pass the Heaven's Fate assessment. However, you shouldn't go to Tianji Tower's headquarters for the time being. Eastern Profound Region is in troubled times, and it's also a good tempering for you, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow understands. Also, Chief Law Protector Yin Shui just came to find me. She said that the 3 supervisors want to meet you, Aunt Fei, Night Sorrow said. Irritating, but it's not appropriate to not meet them. All right. Aunt Fei will return later. How have you been recently? The main thing is to find ways to increase your spiritual strength. As for your qi cultivation, it will slowly increase, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow then talked about how he could cultivate spiritual strength. He hoped that this method could be used as a reference for Wu Lingfei. Chapter 435. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. I understand. Alright, let's go back together. Wu Lingfei stood up and put on her golden mask. With a wave of her hand, she pulled Night Sorrow to her side and flew towards Tianji Tower. Moments later, the two of them arrived at Tianji Tower. Alright, you can go back now. If there's anything, we'll go to the same old place to find Auntie Fei. Alright, then I'll head back first. Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Lingfei and drove Tianyu away from Tianji Tower, flying towards the mansion. However, he was extremely shocked. The time it took for Wu Lingfei to bring him from the mountain peak to Tianji Tower was less than half the time it took for Lei Hua to fly. What did this mean? This meant that Wu Lingfei was much stronger than Lei Hua. At the very least, she was twice as fast as Lei Hua. After returning to the mansion, Night Sorrow saw that Qin Zhen was in the middle of cultivating his strength. Ho Jian and the others were giving Qin Zhen some advice. After chatting with the group for a while, Night Sorrow went to cultivate. He wanted to improve his soul force as soon as possible. He wanted his soul force to reach the liquid state as soon as possible. Night Sorrow also knew that it wasn't that easy. Many cultivators who had entered the Venerable Realm couldn't reach this level. However, Night Sorrow was not discouraged because of this. He had the cultivation method and soul crystals, so there was no way he could not cultivate. After practicing the basics for a night, Knight Sorrow went to the martial arts practice field to practice his spear arts. He had now cultivated the 7-star brilliant moon spear to the point where he could combine 5 spears into one. The 5 spear lights were very confusing, and the attack power was also much stronger than before. This was the effect brought about by the increase in his cultivation. Then, Knight Sorrow went to watch Qin Zhen cultivate. Qin Zhen was very hard-working in his cultivation. His current energy exertion technique was somewhat similar to Hou Jian's, both of which focused on deflecting and rebounding force. Knight Sorrow went to see Yang Lei, who was giving pointers to her disciples, and then went to the city lord's mansion. Knight Sorrow asked around in the city lord's residence, but he could not find the blood-clad guard's 5th squad. No matter who he asked, no one knew. This made Knight Sorrow feel very conflicted. He actually couldn't find his subordinates. Unable to get any answers, Knight Sorrow felt quite helpless. He could only tell the manager of the city lord's residence that he wanted to meet with the higher-ups and return to his residence. After some thought and asking Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu for their opinions, Knight Sorrow came to a conclusion. Even in the city lord's mansion, only a limited number of people could come into contact with the Bloodstrike guards. That night, someone came to Knight Sorrow's residence. It was an old man in green robes. Ning Qingfeng led the old man directly to the backyard, where he saw Knight Sorrow, who was cultivating his spear techniques. "I am the city lord's mansion's guardian elder, Kuan Nan. Today, I heard from the manager that you had some matters to attend to," Kuan Nan said. "Greetings, Elder Kuan. It's like this. I am the captain of the blood-clad guard's 5th squad, but I can't find them," Knight Sorrow said. "It's like this. In the city lord's mansion, the blood-clad guard is a secret force that not many people know about. They usually cultivate in the base. Only a few elders know about this," Kuan Nan said. "So that's how it is." Then Knight Sorrow understands. "Originally, I bought 2 mansions and built a practice field to make it more convenient for everyone. It seems that there is no need for that," Knight Sorrow said as he looked at his residence. "It's good that you have such a plan. I will bring them over later," Kuan Nan said. "Thank you, Elder Kuan." Knight Sorrow bowed to Kuan Nan. "There's no need to be polite. I know that you led the 5th squad into battle some time ago. You did very well. In the future, the 5th squad will be stationed here. This will be their second base." Kuan Nan sized up Yishan's residence and said, "That's not a problem. That's what I planned to do when I bought this residence. Brothers can live together and become familiar with each other. In the future, our cooperation will be better," Knight Sorrow said. "All right. I went out today to attend to some other matters. I am usually in the city lord's mansion, in the east building. If you need anything, you can find me." Kuan Nan nodded to Knight Sorrow and left Knight Sorrow's residence. 13. We didn't consider it enough in the past. Now that I think about it, the 5th squad of the Bloodstrike Guard is definitely the trump card of the city lord's mansion, Yang Lei said. "I used to know that they were elites, but I didn't expect them to be of such high standards," Knight Sorrow said. In fact, among the 30 brothers of the Bloodstrike Guard, the oldest is only in his 40s. To be able to cultivate to the peak of the severed spirit stage at this age, and some of them have even reached the 5th level, they are all outstanding cultivators, Sikong Chuyu said. Yang Lei, Hou Jian, and the others nodded. This group of young people with high average strength and potential was very difficult to integrate into a team. After all, there were very few people. The next morning, Kuan Nan sent the 30 Bloodstrike Guards to Knight Sorrow's residence. He then left after informing the members of the Bloodstrike Guard. "Greetings, Captain." Xue Ling led the group of Bloodstrike Guards and bowed to Knight Sorrow. "Don't stand on ceremony, everyone. It's like this. I feel that if we are going to fight side by side in the future, we will need to communicate more. That's why I bought 2 mansions." "Xue Ling, you can arrange for everyone to stay in. There is also a training ground here," Knight Sorrow said. "I understand. Thank you for your concern, Captain. Xue Ling nodded. All right, don't stand on ceremony. You know these people. These two are also my good brothers. We will fight side by side in the future, so let's get to know each other. Knight Sorrow introduced Ho Qingjie and Qin Zhen to the rest of the Blood Strike Guard. After the arrangements were made, Knight Sorrow went to find Uncle Feng and asked him to pay more attention to the food in the residence. With nothing to do, Knight Sorrow went to Tianji Tower. On the top floor of the Tianji Tower, Knight Sorrow met Yin Shui and Lan Yuxuan. Most are new chapter, Section S Supra. Knight Sorrow is here. Sit down and have some tea. Lan Yuxuan was not wearing her mask. She looked to be in her mid-30s, but her aura was very strong. Knight Sorrow nodded and sat opposite the two. Knight Sorrow, thank you. It was because of your help that we were able to meet Master Wu Quebec. Lan Yuxuan poured a cup of tea for Knight Sorrow. It's nothing. I'm just passing on the supervisor's message. By the way, what's the situation with the Nebula sect? Knight Sorrow asked. The situation is still very serious, but we are able to stabilize it. The only thing is that we are not sure how many venerable dark spiritual corpses there are. The battle is going on every day. Tianji Tower and the governor's mansion did not lose much strength, but the Nebula sect has suffered a great loss. Yin Shui said. Then I will go back and discuss it. If there is no problem, I will go with my brothers later. Knight Sorrow said. Chapter 436. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Don't we have many sovereigns there? Can't we just kill them when they come out to ambush us? Knight Sorrow asked with a frown. Love go little say Neku, we can't. At most, we can injure them severely. The dark spiritual corpses have a unique escape technique. If they are in danger, they will run back to the spatial tunnel. With that disgusting spatial tunnel as their shield, we can't kill them. Besides, they have enough death energy to replenish themselves, so they can quickly recover and continue to fight us. Yin Shui said with some annoyance. Can't we do this? When they come out to ambush us, we will send our top sovereigns to block the entrance of the spatial tunnel to prevent them from running back. Then, the rest of us will work together to kill them. Knight Sorrow said. We can try this method. Send a sovereign to exhaust them first. Don't pressure them too much and don't let them feel danger. Then, send a strong sovereign to block the entrance of the spatial tunnel. This way, everyone can surround and kill them. Yin Shui nodded. Then let's wait for a while and communicate with the sovereigns at the City Lord Mansion. Then, we can carry out this plan. Lan Yuxuan said. Okay, I will communicate with the City Lord Mansion later. Even if we can't completely solve the problem, we can still suppress their arrogance. Yin Shui said. Okay, I will go back first and see how to deal with this problem. Knight Sorrow stood up and said. After Knight Sorrow left, Lan Yuxuan and Yin Shui continued their discussion. We are all thinking about how to kill them, but we didn't think about how to cut off the dark spiritual corpse's escape route. We are really stupid. Yin Shui laughed at herself. He is young and his vision is different from us. This guy has a strong killing intent. This crisis is also a chance for him to train. Anyway, this crisis is nothing. If Master Wu Kei makes a move, then the trouble can be solved at any time. Master Wu Kei's strength is unfathomable. I can't see through her. Lan Yuxuan said with some emotion. If Master Wu Kei wasn't strong, Eastern Xian region wouldn't be so peaceful. Yin Shui said with a smile. That's right. There are frequent domain wars in the other domains, but none of the domain forces have come to the Eastern Xian domain to provoke us, Lan Yuxuan said. Last year, the Jiyu family from the Qingtian territory came to provoke us, but they ran away before we could do anything about it. Yin Shui recalled that the Jiyu family had burned down Bamboo Garden Village in the Medicine Valley. Jiyu's family has been developing very quickly in recent years. They are a little complacent and a little arrogant. They are lucky that they didn't provoke Fire Dance Tower Master this time, Lan Yuxuan said. They didn't offend Mistress Wu Kei, but they offended Night Sorrow. This matter won't end so easily. Yin Shui shook his head. He knew Night Sorrow quite well, and knew that the incident of Ji Yu family cutting off one of Mr. Gu's arms wouldn't end so easily. Currently, Night Sorrow was just not powerful enough. What happened? Lan Yuxuan asked. Then, Yin Shui told her about Sikong Chuyu, Night Sorrow, and Bamboo Garden Town. They actually attacked ordinary people. This matter is too serious. No matter who it is, no one will stop. Ji Yu's family is looking for trouble, Lan Yuxuan said with a sigh. After Night Sorrow returned to his mansion, he went to a secret room and began to cultivate. However, he kept thinking about whether he should continue to participate in the domain wars. Night Sorrow could ask for the opinions of Ho Jian, Nan Liyue, and the Lei brothers. He could decide whether or not to participate in the domain wars. However, the Blood Strike guards couldn't. They were the guards of the City Lord's mansion. If they wanted to fight, they had to get the City Lord's mansion's order. Love go little say W. Chu this time, Night Sorrow cultivated for 3 days. He only woke up from his cultivation state after turning the Ice Spirit Blood Essence and Soul Crystals in his hands into useless rocks. Then, while chatting with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu, the two women gave Night Sorrow some advice. If it wasn't necessary, he should let Ho Jian and the others cultivate first. After all, everyone's cultivation was advancing by leaps and bounds. After thinking about it, Night Sorrow felt that the two women were right. He couldn't drag others into the domain wars just because he wanted to. Ho Jian and Nan Liyue hadn't been in the domain wars for long. Their strength was increasing rapidly. Lei Bao and Lei Zheng were trying to break through to the domain wars of the domain wars. They had just eaten the tranquility pill. Ho Qingjie was slower than them, but he had also reached the domain wars of the domain wars. Qin Zhen, who had the lowest cultivation, was improving the fastest. During Yu Yangyu's venerable celebration ceremony, he was at the domain wars of the domain wars. Now, he had reached the domain wars of the domain wars and could enter the domain wars of the domain wars at any time. If Night Sorrow didn't exist, Qin Zhen might be the most outstanding young disciple in the Medicine Valley. What made Night Sorrow gratified was that Ho Jian, Nan Liyue, and the others were very enthusiastic about Qin Zhen. They didn't reject him because of the difference in cultivation level. They were even willing to feed Qin Zhen moves and help Qin Zhen improve his strength. Seeing that everyone else was cultivating, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. Original Carrot G, Hertz, and I5 He All V is the pirate edition. This was the first time Night Sorrow had brewed tea for others while they cultivated. Night Sorrow, your qi and blood are getting more and more abundant. The smoke of essence qi has already reached more than 6 zhang *3, 33 m per zhang. It won't be a problem for you to reach the level where the smoke will soar into the clouds. Sikong Chuyu said. Your cultivation levels are improving very quickly as well. After stabilizing your cultivation levels, it won't be a problem for you to advance to the domain wars of the domain wars. Once you reach the mid-void inquiry stage, your combat power will be improved. Night Sorrow said. The world is chaotic. Wars may break out at any time. Only with strength will you have confidence. Yang Lei said. Yes. Only with strength will you have confidence. However, it's a little difficult to improve your cultivation level after reaching the void inquiry stage. After all, the energy needed to advance is too great. Night Sorrow said. After cultivating in Pill Cauldron Cliff for nearly a month, Night Sorrow only managed to increase his cultivation level by 1 level. This made him understand how difficult it was to improve his cultivation level after reaching the void inquiry stage. You should know that other than the bottleneck, there are also some void inquiry stage cultivators who are stuck at the first level for 10 years or even dozens of years due to a lack of resources. There are many such cases in our Medicine Valley. People like us who don't need to consider the problem of resources and can improve our cultivation levels quickly as long as we cultivate are something that others wouldn't even dare to dream of. Yang Lei said. Night Sorrow smiled. He knew that the lack of cultivation resources was the problem that all cultivators faced. It was indeed very rare for someone like him who did not need to worry about resources. This was also the reason why all cultivators wanted to join a large sect and squeeze into Tianji Tower. It was because they needed resources. After that, Night Sorrow took out the resources that Tianji Tower gave him and had a look. They were the Clear Void Pill and the Great Void Pill. However, the quality of the pills was the same as the ones that Night Sorrow concocted. There was no difference between supreme grade and mid-grade. This was related to the level of a pill refinement master. Pill refinement masters could concoct supreme grade pills that did not have much pill poison when they concocted low-grade pills. However, it was very difficult for pill refinement masters to concoct supreme grade pills like the Clear Void Pill and the Great Void Pill because the requirements were very strict. Chapter 437. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Then I'll go get it when I have time. We don't lack 5th rank resources, but we still need the people around us. The most important thing is that they give us high-grade spirit stones. Night Sorrow said with a smile. We don't have high expectations for this. Rank determines the treatment. Night Sorrow, do you know the concept of a celestial oracle? Sikong Chiyu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I don't know. I don't know what kind of position it is. Night Sorrow shook his head. He still didn't understand the internal situation of Tianji Tower. There are only a few celestial oracles in Tianji Tower. They have a lot of power. It can be said that except for the Tower Master, Deputy Tower Master, Chief Supervisor, Chief Protector, and the Tower Masters in other regions, everyone else is a subordinate. The celestial oracles are the representatives of the Tower Master and Deputy Tower Master. Sikong Chiyu said. Night Sorrow was stunned. This concept was a bit general, but he understood the general meaning. Except for a limited number of people in power, everyone else was a subordinate. But I don't think they take me seriously. Night Sorrow said with a smile. You have the treatment of a celestial oracle now, but you don't have the power because you haven't officially taken up the position. Sikong Chiyu said. Night Sorrow nodded. He didn't care about this. He wasn't a fan of power and didn't have any desire for power. Otherwise, he wouldn't have refused to take up the position of young master of Medicine Valley. One must know that Medicine Valley was now one of the 7 superpowers in Eastern Profound Domain. After chatting with the 2 girls for a while, Night Sorrow planned to go out and see Kuan Nan. He wanted to see what was going on in Broken Cloud Mountain. Night Sorrow stopped when he reached the street. He felt that he was being watched. This was his intuition. When Yishang stopped, a familiar person appeared not far in front of him. Night Sorrow was stunned when he saw this person. He didn't expect to meet such a familiar person here. It was the blacksmith uncle who gave him the sky-piercing spear. Why, are you surprised? Let's find a place to treat this uncle to a drink. A sloppy-looking blacksmith with a pair of tattered leather shoes said. All right. If Night Sorrow still didn't know that this blacksmith wasn't simple, then he would be a fool. Finding a restaurant, Night Sorrow asked for a private room. He took out a jar of green carrot leopard bone wine and poured a bowl for the blacksmith. I know you have a lot of questions, but I can't tell you too much. It's already against the rules to look for you today, the blacksmith said after taking a sip of wine. Night Sorrow nodded. All right, uncle, please speak. This junior will listen. Someone wants to kill you. The news came from the Qingtian region. The Assassin Hall of the Eastern Xian region has rejected this mission. However, there will still be people who will carry out this mission. So, you have to be careful. The blacksmith drank another bowl of wine and said. Thank you for your advice, senior. Night Sorrow stood up and bowed to the blacksmith. It's nothing. I just don't want to see anything happen to you. It's fine as long as you know. The blacksmith stood up and glanced at Night Sorrow. Then, he stood up and left the restaurant. When he left, he even held the jar of wine in his hand. Night Sorrow took out another jar of wine and poured half a bowl for himself. He thought as he tasted the wine. At this moment, he understood that this blacksmith uncle was most likely a member of the Assassin Hall, one of the top forces in the eastern Xian city. Night Sorrow couldn't understand why someone from another region would give him a mission to kill him. He hadn't even left the eastern Xian region. If he had a grudge, it would be with the Sikong family and Jiyu family of the Qingtian region. However, if he had a grudge with them, he would be the one taking revenge. Why would they want to kill him? After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that he should wait for the opinions of Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu. Perhaps he could come up with some other ideas. After leaving the restaurant, Night Sorrow went to the city lord's mansion and met with Elder Kuan Nan. Night Sorrow asked about the situation at the Broken Cloud Mountain of the Star Cloud sect. I heard that they were blocking the entrance of the spatial tunnel. They caught a dark spirit corpse and killed it. However, after one of the dark spirit corpses was killed, they became smarter. They didn't give us a chance to surround and kill them. They fought with us at the entrance of the spatial tunnel. If they couldn't win, they would retreat. Kuan Nan said. These bastards are quite smart. Night Sorrow was a little dissatisfied that they only killed one dark spirit corpse. YJT-74 version 1-inch. Their intelligence is indeed high. However, they can't do anything for now. Our people have killed most of the dark spirit corpses. Only a small portion of them are roaming around the area. Kuan Nan said. Then it's not a big problem. Night Sorrow felt a little more at ease. No, the problem now is big. Previously, when Elder Dai Tianxiang and Elder Lei blocked the entrance of the spatial tunnel and were about to kill a dark spirit corpse, a large hand reached out from the spatial tunnel and forced Elder Lei and Elder Dai to retreat. Although it was unexpected, we can still guess that there was a strong person inside the spatial tunnel. Kuan Nan said. How could that be? Night Sorrow's body trembled. Attacking through the spatial tunnel was a heaven-defying method. After analyzing it, we found that the fellow was strong. However, it was still far from our city lord's level. That spatial tunnel didn't reject the death energy, so it didn't affect its attack. It was completely different from the city lord's ability to catch a half-step venerable from the spatial tunnel. Kuan Nan said. That's good. Do you need me to lead the Blood Strike Guard into battle? Night Sorrow asked, breathing a sigh of relief. The Blood Strike Guard Squad 5 that you lead is currently at a stage where its potential is rising. Using actual combat to train is the best way to cultivate. You can make the decision yourself. This is the City Lord's will. The resources of the Blood Strike Guard Squad 5 are provided by the City Lord's mansion, but the City Lord's mansion won't participate in other aspects. You can make the decision on your own. Night Sorrow nodded. I understand. I'll ask the Blood Strike Guard brothers for their opinions. Don't worry about that. The Blood Strike Guard Squad 5 has expressed their willingness to follow you. They will follow your decision. Kuan Nan nodded. Night Sorrow then left the City Lord's mansion. The brothers of the Blood Strike Guard Squad 5 were willing to follow him. Night Sorrow didn't say anything. He was very touched. This was the trust of brothers. When he returned to the mansion, Yishang saw the Blood Strike Guard sparring and cultivating their battle skills. Yang Lei was also training with her disciples. Night Sorrow waved at Yang Lei. Yang Lei informed Jiang Ziming and went to Night Sorrow's side. Sikong Chuyu had also brewed a pot of tea. What's wrong? Did something happen? Yang Lei asked. Things are a little troublesome. Someone from the assassination hall has placed a bounty on me. Night Sorrow explained the details to Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. There's no one else besides the Jiyu family. It seems like they have infiltrated the eastern Xian region. However, they don't have much power. They can only obtain information, but they can't do anything about it. That's why they asked the assassination hall to take action. Sikong Chuyu's face was filled with anger. She knew that this was the trouble she had brought to Night Sorrow. Don't worry. I'm already prepared. They won't succeed so easily, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 438. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? Here's a wonderful novel for you to read. Night Sorrow then went to the city lord's manor and told Kuan Nan about the matter. Love go little say W. Chu, how audacious. You're a law enforcer of the city lord's manor. They actually dared to put a bounty on you. You don't have to worry about this. I'll deal with it. Kuan Nan was furious when he heard Night Sorrow's words. Elder Kuan, it's nothing. You're just helping me investigate. If anyone from the Qingtian region comes, just let me know. If they dare to come, I won't kill them, but I'll definitely kill them, said Yishan. I know. Kuan Nan nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow left the city lord's manor and returned to his own residence. Kuan Nan thought for a moment, then left the city lord's manor and went to the mountain where Wu Lingfei was cultivating. What's wrong? Broken Cloud Mountain can't hold on anymore? Wu Lingfei opened her eyes and looked at Kuan Nan. It's not about Broken Cloud Mountain. It's about Night Sorrow. Kuan Nan bowed. Night Sorrow? What happened to Night Sorrow? Wu Lingfei stood up. It's the Hall of Assassins. They accepted the mission to kill Night Sorrow. The Hall of Assassins in the eastern Xian region refused to carry out the mission, but there are still people who can carry out the mission. Kuan Nan told her the purpose of his visit. How audacious. Wu Lingfei's body flashed and she left the mountain. Seeing Wu Lingfei's figure disappear, Kuan Nan hurriedly flew toward Dongxian City. Soon, Wu Lingfei stood in front of the Hall of Assassins pavilion. With a wave of her hand, she shattered the lintel of the Hall of Assassins along with the main door. No need to hide. Get out here. Wu Lingfei roared after shattering the lintel of the Hall of Assassins pavilion. Following Wu Lingfei's words, a few people dressed in different clothes appeared. The one in the lead was a merchant. Greetings, Lord Quebec, the old merchant bowed to the golden-masked Wu Lingfei. The Hall of Assassins can now accept missions to kill the core members of the Eastern Xian region's Tianji Tower? Wu Lingfei asked coldly. Lord K, please calm down. I will go and investigate the situation. The old merchant's eyes were filled with shock. Wu Lingfei's aura, he couldn't circulate the energy in his body. I'll tell you now. If this mission continues, I'll go to the 9 regions and 18 prefectures and wipe out all the members of your assassination hall. Don't doubt my ability. You can't make the decision, so just send my words back to the headquarters. Tell your hall master that this is my will. I used to be called the Golden Phoenix. Wu Lingfei waved her arm again and the top floor of the assassination hall was blown away. I will pass the message to the headquarters. The fat merchant, who was the person in charge of the Hall of Assassins, bowed again. Also, bring the information of the next Hall of Assassins to Tianji Tower. Don't talk to me about the rules of the Hall of Assassins. In my eyes, my fists are the rules. Wu Lingfei's voice wasn't loud, but it was absolutely domineering. At this time, Kuan Nan arrived, followed by a group of black iron guards. Lord. Kuan Nan bowed to Wu Lingfei. Clean up. After saying these 2 words, Wu Lingfei's body flashed and left the Hall of Assassins. Elder Protector. The fat merchant wiped the sweat from his forehead. Elder Mu, you didn't do the right thing this time. Kuan Nan said. Elder Protector, this way please. Mu Sha said. The Hall of Assassins was very strong, but that was only relative. They were inferior to the city lord's mansion and Tianji Tower. Musha led Kuan Nan across the dilapidated building to the backyard of the Hall of Assassins. Elder Protector, what's going on? Musha said with some hesitation. Your Hall of Assassins has a mission to hunt down Night Sorrow, right? You should have investigated. With his excellent qualifications, do you think his position in Tianji Tower is low? He's definitely a core member. Also, to tell you the truth, he's also a guard of the City Lord's mansion. Kuan Nan sat down and said. We were really foolish this time. Elder Kuan, you know that we can investigate some information, but we don't interfere with the Tianji Tower and the City Lord's mansion, so there are some things that we don't know. I found out that he contributed a lot to the Eastern Xian region on the Island of Darkness, so I refused to carry out the mission. Musha said. It's because you refused the mission that you are safe. Now you can only do as the Lord says. Pass the message to the headquarters, I believe they will make a decision. Kuan Nan said to Musha. His attitude was very good. It wasn't the first time he met Musha, and they had some friendship. Okay, I almost got into big trouble. I, Musha, know about Lord Golden Phoenix. I didn't expect to see Lord Golden Phoenix under such circumstances. Musha said with a bitter smile. Kuan Nan then left the Hall of Assassins. He knew that as long as Wu Ling concubine's name reached the Hall of Assassins, this matter would come to an end. You bastards, come over here. Musha shouted at the blacksmith, Sister Luo, and another man who were standing at the side. GL starter, no need to ask. I'm the one who informed Night Sorrow. We know about his growth, and he has done nothing wrong. Besides, he often treats me to drinks, so I don't want to see him get killed. The blacksmith kicked off his beastskin shoes and walked a few steps away. Then you know about the situation. Why didn't you say anything? We can communicate with the headquarters and ask them to give up the mission. There's nothing wrong with that. If Lord Golden Phoenix is angry, the consequences will be uncontrollable. Musha glared at the blacksmith and said. Why are you glaring at me? I'm just a blacksmith. I can do whatever I want. Tell the higher-ups to punish me? Do assassins have no principles? The blacksmith looked at Musha and said. Bastard, luckily you're the one who informed us. Otherwise, if something happened, we wouldn't be able to escape. Lord Golden Phoenix. She's a big shot who has killed countless venerables. We're just ants in front of her. Musha said with some emotion. Is she very famous? The other middle-aged man asked. She's very strong. You can say that she's the pride of the Eastern Xian region. Although I'm not from the Eastern Xian region, I still admire her. Even the top members of our assassin hall have been defeated by her. Many years ago, she also defeated the high-level venerables of the other regions in the domain war and established herself as an invincible venerable. She also protected the peace of the Eastern Xian region, said Musha. According to what you said, she's not just talking about going to the 9 regions and 18 states to destroy our Hall of Assassins. Sister Luo said with some surprise. Isn't that nonsense? She doesn't have the confidence to destroy our reputation. We'll know when the news comes. The headquarters will definitely give in. Musha said with a bitter smile, you're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.